All right. Yo. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of Ham Radio Live. We're live every single Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. My intro is all discombobulated because we take 1 week off, and here we are.
Not
Paul, how are you
every
doing,
Friday.
man?
Well, it's been like I guess 2 weeks since we've done the show.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot longer. I remember last week it was just like super light on news. That's why we didn't do anything. And it was Thanksgiving. We had
Holidays.
holiday, whatever. But that being said, I'm back to be.
We're both rusty.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. And I'm excited to get in the news because there's some cool stuff to talk about today.
Absolutely.
Some breaking news.
I was going to say, we got BioShock 4 leaking like the moment we were about to go live. We're going to talk, of course, about another leak today, the PlayStation Game Pass, and much more. For those listening to the early part of the show, just know that next week, Colin Moriarty, the man who is responsible for the BioShock leak, will be joining my channel to have a little chat about the information that he brought to the table. Yeah, because I did it with Jeff Grubb for Obsidian, and a lot of people really like that. So I wanted to do that with Colin. I already talked to him because I knew he was going to do it. So I just wanted to make people aware who are listening to this that I'll maybe be able to get a little more information and insight on what he knows, how he found it out, and break down more BioShock there. So keep an eye out for that.
I like those videos that you do, like when you interview someone, because it's a nice departure from your channel. Like
oh God, it feels so nice to do. It's easy
too.
It's
cool. Yeah, well, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I've watched them and I like them.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and because the idea behind those was just to bring together, like, hey, I'm the YouTuber, and I know I've got sources, and I've leaked stuff in the past, but I know that's not my calling. That's not what I want to build my channel off of, and I feel like I'm more conversational where. Journalists kind of typically tried to ego YouTubers, and I'm like, this might be a way to bring us all together here. So, obviously, Colin not being a journalist, but a reporter. Yeah, here we are. We're bringing both sides together. Once you get that degree, you'll be good to go. We'll be talking about the Game Awards as well. It just broke that Jeff Keighley is not taking a side on the Activision Blizzard situation. So, Friday at 6 p.m., they just let all the bad news roll, I guess.
Yeah, that's iffy. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I get the idea of not having to pick a side in most situations. Like, everyone feels like you got to lay out your politics, your religion, all that shit on a red carpet for everyone to dissect and make sure you pass the test. But I don't know, man. I mean, with this type of thing where you're running like the de facto game show, and you were talking about Hideo Kojima and how, it's really upsetting that Konami stopped him from receiving a reward. Not reward. It seems a little backwards here to not be picking a side on Activision, but blowing up Konami. Very strange.
Just surprised, like, the state of the industry, right? Like, almost, how everybody moves in like one direction, almost like in a hive mind.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised that he's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a marketing show, like I've been saying for the last couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah.
It's almost like there's some money involved here that, we can't really, ostracize Activision. I guarantee you'll see ads for their games there. That'll be hilarious.
Dude,
oh my God.
Just like booing in the crowd or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if they get brought up, that's the thing. I guarantee that crowd will boo. I don't know, though. Maybe not. We'll see. It'll be funny to learn because we're only a couple of days away from that. We'll be making some predictions as well. Anyway, for those listening, just know that if you want to listen to the archived version, that's available on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Those links are in the description down below for you all to check out. Of course, we go archived on YouTube on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, but the Patreon's where it's at. You get the audio version and video version, early access. The video version goes live immediately. I just copy and paste the stream link, and then the audio version goes live about an hour or two later. So you can get early access over the weekend as soon as the show is done and all that good stuff. Or you can just search Ham Radio Live on all the apps. Just remember the periods when you do so.
Also, if you don't want to support through Patreon and you want to chat, you can super chat like Unkempt Talk just did for $5.
There we go.
And Unkempt Talk said, haven't been able to make it for a few weeks. Happy to catch some Ham live. We're happy to have you here.
Absolutely. And I don't think you've missed anything because if you haven't caught in a few weeks, I mean, we weren't live last week. So yeah. Don't worry. You didn't miss too much. And then we had our episode beforehand, which was pretty light on news. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone tuning in, all 100 plus of you right off the rip. Happy to see you all here. And with that, let's talk about what games we're playing to kick things off. Paul, what have you been diving into?
So gaming has been really weird because 2 weeks ago, I was playing the same games, and I still am
Mm,
because I'm doing a lot of finals in school and work and doing like travel restriction stuff because my girlfriend's visiting
hmm
like 2 days. So I've been playing Trails of Cold Steel still fun. Kind of slowing down for me a little bit, which I'm like surprised about. I don't know if it's because I'm not as focused because of school and stuff, but I'm like
Right.
trucking through it a little bit.
What
But
chapter are you on, by the way? Just I know you got past 3.
chapter 4.
Okay. Okay.
I'm like towards the tail end of it, so
Okay. You're gonna get to
it's
the good stuff, but I get what you're feeling. I know exactly what you're
yeah,
feeling.
it's like you notice the gameplay loop at that
Mm-hmm.
point,
Mm-hmm.
like field study, and then you have like random monotonous like quests during the field study.
Yeah.
But the plot is like sort of diverging a little bit, so it's getting good. Besides that, I'm also playing Genshin Impact because I find like when I'm really busy with like schoolwork and stuff, it's a lot easier to play more mindless like games as a service games because you don't have to like I don't have to like mentally invest myself in a story. Like I'm not just gonna play through a whole story if I can't focus on it, if I can't really invest into it.
Right.
So that's why sometimes I'll slow down on it. So I've been playing Genshin Impact. And there's like a new update out for that, which is really cool. The writing kind of fell off in the last update, but it seems like they're doing better
Mm.
again, which I like to hear.
Good stuff.
And yeah, I'm playing Animal Crossing. Same thing as last week. Animal Crossing, dude, I'm telling you, daily, like get an hour into Animal Crossing. It's nice. It's like part of my schedule almost.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last thing is Halo Infinite. We played Halo Infinite last night, Matt. Had some
Mm.
great games, all
Dude, we
victories.
waxed. We
Yeah, it was
waxed. It wasn't
great.
even close. That was
Yeah,
what probably our best night. You and I were like top of the leaderboards every time. It was like that. I think I needed that refresher. Like I was talking to you about how I
yeah,
like plateaued, and so I took a couple days off. I came back. I'm like I'm gonna suck, and I just destroyed. It was such a good feeling to be
it was
back.
really fun. Yeah, I know. I was like silent for most of it too. I was like really focused. I think like like there was 4 of us there. And I think we were all listening to like battle music from different video games
Yeah,
because we were
yeah.
kind of like talking about it. I was just really into the moment.
Yeah, because what
So yeah, that's
I did for the first time, and I know you did as well, is I was like, I'm turning off the music for Halo. And I was like,
yeah.
I'm just going to throw on Spotify and like put on my gym playlist and see what happens here. And so I'm like listening to Final Fantasy 13 as I'm shooting some guy
Yeah.
down the streets.
That's my Octopath battle music going on, like this chorus in the background.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Good stuff, man. Well, you're playing a large diversity of stuff. I, too, am playing a lot of Halo Infinite. Not much more to say on that, but definitely a lot to say quite soon, so keep your eyes peeled. Fable Anniversary was the main serving this week, if you will. Fable Anniversary took me about 12, 13 hours to beat. For those who don't know, Fable Anniversary is the remaster of Fable: The Lost Chapters. And this game's great. It's aged really well in a lot of ways. The combat's pretty bad, but the actual story and choices you can make is so simplistic, but its simplism is what makes the game work really well because it's like you do an evil thing, so now your character has horns. Like it's always visually validating the choices you make. Like you can kill every major character in the game and not on a GTA level rampage, but like huge story moments that show up and it's like live or die, and that's it. There's no focus on the moral gray. Like even I think some people find it nauseating when games do that. Like I think of KOTOR 2 where you have Kreia like the whole time. It's like you cure cancer and she's like, I don't know about that, sir. It's like you can't do anything right for her, right or wrong. Like it's always some type of critical nature. And so a lot of games like that moral gray, Fable's just good or evil. Kind of like Mass Effect with Paragon and Renegade. This game messes around with that quite a bit. So it's been a nice return to that. Going to be doing a whole Fable series playthrough ahead of the Fable reboot. And we'll be doing re-reviews of each of the Fable games on the channel in the coming year, starting with Fable Anniversary either at the end of this year or beginning next year. It'll probably be one of my vacation videos while I'm away.
So Fable's like fantasy, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like super high fantasy. So it
Yeah.
almost makes sense for have like black and white, good and bad. That's kind of cool. I've
Yeah.
never played it. So.
You would like it just by like the music and the vibe it gives off alone. It's
Yeah.
just the combat's such a hard sell, I think now. It's like action combat, but in the worst sense because your character, instead of just taking damage, you get knocked on your back, so there's a bad flow to it, which I think is arguably worse than just combat that isn't balanced because you can't fight back sometimes. So it's a part of the combat rhythm to get knocked down. It's like you have to get knocked down rather than being good and avoiding that. Again, old game, 2004, 2005. So this is one that is going to come with those types of issues, but it's fun otherwise, and I think you would, and a lot of people would dig it. Other game I wanted to talk about this week that I've been playing is Unsighted. This is a game that I saw on Twitter. I saw one of the developers post about it, how it was getting like no buzz, and this tweet was popping off. I saw it. I love pixel art. I love cyberpunk stuff. This was a mixture of both. So I saw the dev, and as someone, Paul, you and I were working on a game. I feel for that type of stuff. Small team, hard to market it, and I thought, let me buy this game. Let me buy this game, support the team. I really like what I see here, and I will play this. It's also available on Game Pass, so anyone who's interested in this can check it out. That's where I downloaded it, because I bought it on PC, and I downloaded it on Game Pass. And so I've been playing it on Xbox, and it's this Zelda kind of Metroidvania-like game where you play as Alma. Who
has Hades aspects too, right?
It does, yeah. It's like a blending of a lot of different games, like Hades. Yeah, like if you could pick a couple of recent ones, I'd say Hades and Zelda would probably be the two major ones. And it's this action game that's not roguelike, by the way, even though it's Hades. It's the camera angle. It's an action game where it's pretty simple. You got a sprint button, a dodge button, 2 triggers for each attack. One's your melee weapon, one's your gun. You can customize all that. But it's the music and the presentation and how silky smooth some of the animations are for pixel art that I really appreciate about this game. When you know it's by, I think, 2 people, what they're doing is impressive here, and some of the environmental diversity is just phenomenal. Really digging it. I'm only about 3-4 hours in, so I don't want to sing its praises too strongly here, but what I've seen so far has been really impressive. Like I said, you play as Alma, who's this automaton, and there's this energy source called anima, which pretty much provides these bots with a consciousness. Probably the coolest part about this game is there's this mechanic that's counting down the timer, and every NPC you talk to has a timer, and you can give them this thing called meteor dust to increase their timer. But if their timer expires, they'll die and be removed from the game. You can turn this off, but I just thought it was cool because it adds that pressure. Like, you've got to solve this. You've got to solve this right now. And you're expiring. Your companion is expiring. And, I'm curious how it actually unfolds if you let those things happen. But you have to go to the 5 different regions and clear out these enemies. And I'm on the first region right now. Again, really cool ideas on display here. Really great art, great music, excellent vibe. Really cool game so far. So definitely check it out on Game Pass if anyone hasn't seen it yet.
It almost sounds like the original Fallout, with how you're on a timer for doing whatever.
Yeah, a little Majora's Mask even.
Yeah, exactly.
With better combat. It takes a little getting used to. I felt very slow with it. And I think it's the button mapping, like holding X is to sprint on controller, A is to dodge, right trigger is to slash, left trigger is to shoot. So you have to especially playing so much Halo, it's right trigger shoot.
Your brain.
Yeah. And so I had a lot of deaths where you ever have that brain freeze where you're like, what do I do here? And I can't even run.
I switched to bumper jumper on Halo, and for a while it was like that. I'm throwing grenades when I'm trying to jump, and
you just feel lost. So that's what I experienced up front as I put more time in. But this adjustment was weird. I don't usually have that, but this one was strange. And I don't know why necessarily I had it. I think it's because sprinting was to a button rather than the left stick. So I had to press a button to sprint and then press a button to dodge. But there's great puzzles in this game, really fun dungeons, and again, solid combat with great boss mechanics. So really, really recommend people downloading this game on Game Pass if they can. It's called Unsighted. All right. With that, I think it's time for some early tap-ins, don't you think?
Yeah.
Nothing else for me to say.
I'm going to bring in Sean Mason because I miss some Sean Mason.
Yeah, we got to see what Sean was up to during the holidays, yeah?
Yeah, of course. There's going to be another school story for sure.
Oh, of course.
Sean,
right. Sean, happy holidays. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well, man. Welcome back.
Pretty good.
We figured, hey, it's the holiday season. There's no doubt that we have a story here that has to be told by Sean.
Oh, so Pizza Lady emailed me back.
Oh,
yep,
this is I knew it, Matt. I knew it.
Yep, she got back to me, and oh boy. So I got this. So this week, I got this email, and she's like, "Hey, I just want to hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you baked a lot of things and cooked a lot of food." I'm like, oh. And she was going on, and she's like, I'm really sorry if I creeped you out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
wasn't trying to do that. And so I'm just sitting there. I didn't respond to it. I forwarded it to the office, obviously, administration.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally I get another email later in the day from her. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if I embarrassed myself again by sending you another email, but I just really, I really want to just hang out with you." And I'm like, "Oh boy." So I forward that to the administration. So then administration calls me and I have a little meeting with administration after, and they're like, "All right, we might need to, call like the authorities, get them involved."
Oh my God. Okay.
So our school resource officer comes in the room, and so she comes in and she's talking to me. She's, we're giving her all the emails, telling her, basically telling her what I told you guys. She's like, "All right." So then some other police officers come over, and I have to file a restraining order on the woman.
Oh my God.
Because she keeps repeatedly, contacting me, and they, we don't want to have it go any other way.
Right.
So we file a restraining order on her. Since then, she has not contacted me, which is good.
Okay.
But it is a little weird for the kid. And actually, we do trimesters at our school. And trimester 1 ended today. The kid is actually going to be placed in a different ELA class than mine.
Okay. That makes sense. That does make sense. Okay.
I'd hope so. He's probably like really weirded out by his mom right now, and then like awkward between you and.
Yeah, he's very, very quiet now. Yeah, it was very, very, very strange. Very, very strange.
I'm sorry you had to go through all this, Sean.
No
pizza.
Yeah, I know. All for a slice of pizza. No biggie at all. I wanted to keep you guys updated on that. But I do have another story I want to tell you.
Oh,
is that all right?
Okay. Yeah, please, by all means.
So here's the big story. So we got this new kid in our class on Monday. First day is on Monday. He joins my period 5 class. He comes in, he's being quiet like a normal new kid, obviously. And he sits down. We started reading this short story, and he goes, "Oh, I already read this at my old school." I go, "Oh, that's good." I'm like, I'm glad you already read it, but we're still gonna read it again. We're starting to read it, and he's like, I see he's not really paying attention. I'm like, so I go over to him. I'm like, "Yo, we gotta pay attention. Like, we're reading the story." He's like, "Oh, but I already know what happens." So I'm like, "All right."
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever. It's his new first day. I'm not gonna bust his balls.
Yeah.
And then we start doing these comprehension questions, and it's like, answer the questions in complete sentences. And I go over to his work, and he's still sitting there again, still just sitting there. And I'm like, all right. And then he goes, "Mr. Mason." I go, "Yeah, what's up?" He goes, "Yeah, I really, at my old school, they didn't really care if we, did the work or not. It was kind of, he went to like a charter school. Like, they really didn't care if we did the work or not. It was kind of just like, we kind of just sat there, they passed us if we behaved." And I'm like,
wish.
"Oh, that's not how things work here." He's like, "Well, that's not really fair because I'm used to doing it this way." And I go, "No, that's not how it works." Now at this point, the other kids are kind of looking at him like, "What the hell's this guy? What the hell's this kid doing?" Like, kind of sitting there not doing anything. So then I'm like, "All right, let's just try number 1." So I give him a sentence starter, and I'm like, "All right, well, this is what we need to do." And he sits there. He goes, "Mr. Mason." I go, "Yeah, what's up, buddy?" He goes, "I don't fucking care about this."
Oh my.
And so then he picks up his piece of paper, rips it in half, throws his pencil on the ground, and runs out of the room. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm kind of speechless. I'm like, I can't believe that just happened.
Right.
Like, I've never had, this kid's 12. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I call the office, and they find him. He's in the bathroom just sitting there. And he's like, "Yeah, it's not fair that I have to do work. It's my first day here. It's not fair." So then he gets sent home, and we're like, "All right, let him calm down a little bit." He returns the next day. He apologizes to me. I'm like, "All right, no biggie deal. Like, forgive and forget, bud." All the other kids kind of still know that, that was kind of weird a little bit.
Yeah.
We start doing another assignment. Freaking does the same thing.
Twice.
Swears at me again. Rips his paper in half and runs out of the room. And I'm like, okay, this is the most bizarre thing ever. So he has not been to school the rest of this week. But I just think it was so weird. And the other kids, you should have seen the other kids' faces. They were like, what is going on here?
Right. Just abrupt.
Yeah, it's just so bizarre. So my question for you guys is, what's a time in your life where you had like a new student in a class and they kind of did something a little strange? Or
Hmm.
do you have any like experiences with new students in when you were in school
Oh.
or anything?
See, I thought you were going a different direction with the question. I just need to tell a story because it's almost
That's
amazing.
fine.
It's fascinating to me because we had the exact what just happened experience. Mine happened like what 5 hours ago. So I was at CVS getting some Gatorade, right? Picking up a couple of bottles, and I'm online with this woman. I'm just standing there waiting. Like CVS is a little packed today. A couple people online. There's 2 self-checkouts that are full, and there's 2 registers that are full. And there's a line that has a sign that clearly says, like, hey, here's where you start waiting to go on either of these machines or getting help from the cashiers. So I'm waiting with this lady. 2 spots free up right away. There's the cashier, and then there's the self-checkout. So the lady turns to me. She's like, what do you want? I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, you go self-checkout. You go self-checkout. That's easy. I'll take the cashier. I'll deal with the business pitch and all that shit. Try to sell me Care Pass, all that, whatever.
Oh no.
All right. And so I'm like, okay, no problem. So she goes, and as she's going, there's a woman standing on the end of this kind of barricade with a sign that's pointing to where we were standing, saying like line starts that way. And the lady calls out, and she's like, "Excuse me," to the woman who I just let go to the self-checkout. She's like, "Excuse me, the line starts here." And the lady just turns on. She's like, "No, like it starts over there." And the lady, you could tell right away something was a little off here because she starts like tapping the sign like really quick, and she's like, "Right here, right here." You're thinking like, okay, no one say another fucking word because this can pop off real fast, and we all just want to go home. So, I'm just doing my checkout, like, hey, here's my Gatorades. And the woman didn't say anything. I was standing right next to her. She didn't say a word at all. And so the lady just goes like, yeah, I'm sorry. The last thing she said was, yeah, no, the line's just over there. It starts over there. So like you should wait over there. Like it was very kind suggestion, like just so you don't waste your time, go wait over there. And the lady goes, you know what? I don't have any time for someone like you who's being such a bitch. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, so I like peek over my shoulder, like, what the fuck did I just hear? Right. And then this woman just like didn't say a word, right? She just took it. And I see this woman start walking towards her. I'm like, oh no, like not a fight, because I'm the only guy online. I'm like, I don't want to break up a fight right now. And so she's got a hands full of groceries ready to go, right? And she starts like going towards this woman. She's like, and now, I don't know why she had to do this, by the way. I got to put all my, right when she says shit with emphasis, throws everything onto the ground and into the register area. Throw my shit down because you're such a bitch, right? And she walks out. And as she's walking out, this is no hyperbole, she goes, this is what you get for being such a fucking whore. Which, again, I have no idea what she's referencing because she told her to wait online. But like just a cashier, me, I'm just like, what just happened? I apologized to the lady because I said, look, that should have been me. I should have been getting the smoke right there, not you, because I let you go on that line. She said, no problem. But it's funny you bring that up of that like random outburst of cursing from someone you would never expect because I've been to that CVS a million times. I couldn't believe what I saw. But anyway, that I don't know if that's a direct answer to your question, but I felt like it
I
was
like that answer a lot.
I was going to say, I feel like it was a
better.
sufficient story for an outburst. Maybe not from a new kid, but from definitely a new person at a place I've been a lot.
I like that even better.
Excellent.
So for me, I was always the new kid because my my father was like a high school football coach. So I don't know why, but we always moved around. I live in Florida and I've lived all over Florida. So I was always the new kid, which means I always came across, there's every I'd say every elementary class always had that one or maybe two really weird kids that were so isolated because they just acted out all the time. And I remember I transferred to this school I went to was K through 8, which is I hadn't never been to a school like that before. So I transferred to the school in about 5th grade, and this kid is in my class, and I can already tell he's definitely one of the more nobody really talks to him. They don't really like him. But me being a naive 5th grader, I'm like, okay, well maybe I'll see what's going on with this kid. Try and befriend him. So I was friends with every other kid, but then I would be the only one who talked to the other kid. And it only took me about a week to realize why no one talked to him. This kid always had these crazy anger outbursts. I think I've told one of the stories with him before, but he even had a nickname. I don't want to say it because like it's a part of his real name, but like everybody in the school, not just the 5th grade class, everyone in the school knew this kid is like crazy weirdo. So anyway, 5th grade, we finish, and then I'm in 6th grade, and suddenly we all switch to multiple classes. And as I'm going through all my classes, I realized that I have 4 classes with the weirdo. 4 classes.
We're just gonna code name him the weirdo.
Yeah, so 4 classes with the weirdo, and that means that there's 4 opportunities throughout the day for him to act out and be crazy. And I feel as if at least once a week, in all of those classes, he just breakdowns over and over until he he got sent home or whatever. But the craziest one happened. This kid, so I had those classes that are connected through like a door. I think you were telling me. Yeah. So I had world history, and then it switched to English class. And so kids would there's 2 doors, like the front door and then the back door. So we would filter in in a cycle because so many of them had that class. And he was already breaking down during world history, and I was switching to English. But my teacher, she was like, we go through this all the time. Like it was like run of the mill to them. So she's not even calling the office. She's not sending him home. It's like whatever. We'll just go to your next class. I don't care. So we go to the next class, and for some reason, he just starts freaking out. I'm talking flipping desks and jumping on the ground, thrashing his head around. You would have thought he was being possessed or something. It's glasses get thrown off and then they smash, and that just pisses him off more. And this was towards the end of class. I can't remember why. I think kids sort of picked on him a little bit because he was very weird, very odd. And eventually he just says he looks at the teacher like, "Fuck you and fuck this school," and he runs out with his broken glasses on the floor. So I had to go, since I was I would always I had a crush on this one girl, and she always stayed in the class a little bit after, so I would stay too. And so I was there. So we were some of the only witnesses to this kid's crazy outburst. So we got pulled into the office so we could give our testimony or whatever. And that was the only time where I ever had to go tell them what happened. So yeah, that kid was just, I eventually moved from that school and I haven't heard about him since, but he was off his rocker. I had never seen someone act out so much. Definitely needed some behavioral therapy.
Yeah,
for sure.
I genuinely in the CVS situation or what you went through, or what Sean went through. I feel bad for people like that, man, because sometimes something's wrong and they can't help it, and it's really sad. But you can't help also be a human and go, what the fuck was that, man? So it's just it's really sad to see. That
my prediction is that this kid is probably going to end up in our ALC program, which is our behavior program.
Gotcha.
So that's my prediction. I'm not sure, but who knows?
Yeah, man, and hopefully they get the help they need, right? Certainly.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been friends with kids who you think they're going to be a train wreck when they're younger, and they just get steered on the right path and they learn how to manage things and they're good to go. So let's hope that kid gets that same help. But Sean, it's been excellent having story time with you yet again. Thank you so much for sharing a 2-parter with us.
Yeah, no problem. I'll keep you guys updated on everything. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too.
I missed you guys last week, but I'm glad you guys got the rest you needed.
Yeah, man. Just that, and like I said, it was a dead week. We were actually looking at the news going
it was Thanksgiving. I mean,
exactly right. So we were like, what are we gonna do here? Nothing. So
it was good timing because of Thanksgiving, but yeah, it was
sure.
A good week.
I agree.
All right, man. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later.
All right, peace out, Sean.
Thanks for coming.
All right, we got a quick super chat here.
Yeah, okay, you're gonna read it.
Yeah. From Adam Thim. Hey guys, much love for everyone today. Just wanted to ask, but a humble question: when do you guys think Microsoft will remaster Halo 3 in the style of Halo 2? Everyone have an amazing weekend of joy. I don't think they dare to do this,
dude. Halo 3 is perfect. They don't need to. I think they could do a
still looks good.
Upscaling.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, wasn't it already upscaled for the Series X and stuff?
through Master Chief Collection, but a remake,
right.
I just think you don't play with that. Halo 3 is legendary. Halo 2 kind of should get it or should have got it because
It was on the original Xbox, right? It was like
Yeah.
old enough.
yeah, but it was also, to me, it's like, this was a game that was made in like 11, 10 months, something like that. So it was in a short amount of time where, in my personal opinion, looking at it, it's like, okay, this is a chance to add some more to this game that it never really got in the first place. Where Halo 3, it's like this was a special multiplayer moment and story moment that just came together and was like a platform of its own. I don't think remaking it.
Captivated so many people.
Yeah, and it'll never happen now with Infinite, at least for another decade, unless they do chapters or chronicles of like the Halo 3 stories, and they just redo Halo 3.
Halo 3 is actually getting like very minor content drops, like through multiplayer. I think we had a discussion because some of the armor, in my opinion, doesn't really look like it fits. You think it does, but yeah, they drop like armor packs or whatever in Halo 3. I just sort of stay away from it, but yeah, surprisingly that game still gets content in like its own way. So if you're looking for more Halo 3 stuff, you can go check that out, I guess.
Absolutely. We got one more super chat here from Unkempt Talk. I work with kids with behavioral issues in schools. I see these kind of outbursts a lot. It's always shocking, even if you've seen it before. Yeah, it's really well put. Those are the words I was looking for, is that it's still shocking even like when you're expecting it or you've seen it in the past. You just never, I mean, it shows like at your heart you're expecting the best of people. So that's a good thing. But man, that's a tough job.
It's sad because a lot of those kids just have like bad home lives and stuff, and you could get into it. But
yeah,
it's good that schools have like those programs for them to go through.
Agreed. All right, we got time for our second tap in, so let's do it up. Who do we got?
Let's bring in Peebus the Wise.
All right, let's do it up.
Hello, Peebus. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You sound perfect.
All right. Awesome. Let's see if I can get the video up. All right, how's it going?
Oh,
What's going on? You're just a smidge quiet. I don't know if you can bump that or not. We can hear you, but just in case for the audio.
What about that? That sound better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, cool. So, Matty.
Hello.
Talk to you today, man. So, dude, we gotta talk about Fallout 4 settlement mode, man.
All right, let's do it up.
Oh,
I was so into it. Like a few weeks back, I was like nonstop playing it, and feel like in Starfield, that I think that's gonna be if they put as much time into the settlement mode in Starfield as they did in 4, and then they're revamping their engine and all that stuff that they're talking about.
Right.
Like, I feel like it's gonna be pretty good,
Yeah, I mean, is that something you want to see in Starfield?
Yeah, definitely, dude.
Definitely.
I feel like
okay.
if there's like different planets and stuff like that, and you can fly around, like change your spaceship and all that stuff, dude. Imagine settlement mode on a planet scale, and not fucking glitchy.
right.
Like
that's idealistic, I'll admit, but
yeah,
continue.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like playing Sims and building like the best house that I could, and
right.
That was the most fun part of Sims to me, right? And settlement mode in Fallout 4 is very similar, right?
Right.
So, in my opinion, I feel like you can. There's this guy on YouTube named Schooled Zone, and he's like a really small YouTuber. He's he's a science teacher, and he like, the guys that used to like break Skyrim and like come up, like figure out all the original like glitches, like how to get out of Whiterun and all that stuff.
Right.
This guy like figures out all of the intricacies with the settlement mode, and like the special placement ways and like glitches that you can kind of get stuff in and fit it without the clipping and the.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing. Without mods, I'm guessing.
Yeah, without mods.
Wow.
All without mods. Yeah, and it's like totally opens up the game, totally different way. And yeah, I feel like if they could beef it up in Starfield and make it actually usable, because in 4 it was like you really had to fight with the system to even use it.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
There's so many mods that like make it a lot better. But is it your first time playing Settlement or Fallout 4? Like,
oh no.
Okay, because you said you've been like addicted to it recently, so I don't know if it was like your first time picking it up.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that was gonna be my question too.
Yeah, no, I used to play it a lot back in the day when it came out, and yeah, I just picked it up again. I was like, that was fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized I had like 3 achievements left to get, and I was like,
Oh
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I need
And then
I
one of
need to
them's the
get that.
settlement one. You don't just
I
happen
need to
upon
take
that
care
one.
of it.
The max happiness
Right.
for your settlement. Yeah, yeah.
That was the one.
Right. Yeah, I know. Trust me, as someone who got the plat, like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I cheated for that one for sure. I
same,
remember.
same. I did not do that legit. I think I left my PS4 on overnight or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, when it comes to settlement mode, my thing is like I'm all for it if it's not going to take away from what I think BGS does extremely well. So I don't know if you agree with this, Peebus, but like to me, it's like get your choices right, like build your world space in it that's interesting, right? Like we've already seen that in the concept art. Like you're gonna have places like Neon in Starfield, which look really cool. It's this pleasure city, and I'm hoping that they make a lot of those types of locations that are you happen upon, they're handcrafted. So when you go and build your own thing, like it feels unique and individual. Where like Fallout 4 in its base world had a lot of locations that were just designed to be built upon. And I'm glad that they made room for that system, but I felt it was at the sacrifice of things that mattered more. And I'm curious, do you value that building, which is not a problem, but do you value that building more than what Bethesda was traditionally known for, like making hardcore RPGs?
No, I feel like if they had to axe the entire system, and it like they made a game that was just phenomenal, but it didn't have that, I would still love it.
Sure.
Mhm.
But I do find myself like in Skyrim playing that, and I'm like downloading mods that like you can place stuff down, and I'm like, man, I wish I could build a whole campsite in Skyrim like with stairs and shit
Mm-hmm.
like a cool like little place in Skyrim that would be my own.
Right.
And yeah, in Fallout that was always cool. I always got the mods where you could build a settlement anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
me too.
It's weird because like I look at Hearthfire, that's where it really all started in Skyrim. And Hearthfire was so great for its time, and so it's natural that Fallout 4 would evolve upon that when you saw them and introduce the settlement mode. So I feel like it only makes sense for them to bring that into Starfield and have them evolve it further. It's been in 76. They know it's like a key component of their games that a lot of people really like. I think they just need to put as much emphasis on the other stuff as they have with the settlement content. And the settlement content can be excellent if thought about in a different way. Like right now, all we know is build the thing, right? Where I've thought like you can easily marry these two together, like building a town or in the case of Starfield, building a colony even that becomes popular enough that you can attract like instead of the unique weapons and armor, you get a unique trader and they show up with a unique inventory that's only available in that colony if you get it to a certain level and build it up a certain way. To me, that's
Almost like
what
Fallout Shelter.
yeah, like that's what makes it click, right? Like that's what makes it work in my eyes. Otherwise, it's just building and it's an opt-out thing. And what's weird is Bethesda turned it as like an optional mechanic, but then you get to Fallout 4's main story, and there are multiple moments you have to build stuff.
Yeah, as
And even in
long as they
Wastelanders, you have to with Fallout 76. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. I was cutting you off. As long as they can avoid the Preston Garvey situation,
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I think it would be a lot better.
I agree. Paul, where are you at on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Starfield can really like benefit from having that system because, like you guys were saying, I feel like it's such a departure. You got colonies. I imagine there's going to be a lot more resource mining and stuff in this game,
Mhm.
which a lot of people didn't really like with Fallout. But I think if it's done well in Starfield, it could be really beneficial to the gameplay
Yeah.
systems, especially like we're talking about in this. I guess this is theoretically, but it's a large unexplored area almost because of it's in space and space is very unexplored. I'd hope that they would sort of evolve it in a better way because, like you were saying, Matt, the Fallout 4 building system is like an evolution of the Hearthfire system. So if they implement it once more into Starfield,
Mhm.
which I think they're going to, I think they should. I hope that they take it to that next level. I really like that idea of having like those unique, almost like I guess legendary traders or settlers or whatever, because I think that could add like a really cool aspect to it, and maybe it can go into more of the RPG systems. Like you can attract this this trader or settler if you're evil or
Mhm.
bad or what factions you choose to team up with. so it could add replayability. So I do think there's a lot they can play with.
Yeah,
with the, building.
or with these planets, like you attract like a let's say like a legendary hunter, and it unlocks a quest that like in the woods on planet 2B, you know, there's this android like lizard that you've got to hunt down. And I feel like, you know, if they just allow unique things to be unlocked through the investment of your settlement, and it's not just another, like if you look at Sanctuary versus some random outpost in Fallout 4, like there are little minute differences, but nothing truly defines them differently other than their visuals. And most times you're building right on top of that. So eventually they can all look and feel the same. Now, I like how you can make trade routes between them, but I think Starfield has the chance to really evolve that and bring it on a much more grand level. If they can do that, Galactic I'm for it. Scale. I'm very, galactic, right? Literally. So I'm open to it. It's just, I don't want it to be, again, at the sake of like, and it seems like they're going that way, right? Like we're seeing backgrounds are going to be in this game. Skills are going to be back. There's going to be more choices, it looks like, in the main story. So I'm seeing more signs that they are focusing on the other side as much. I've never been team like kill settlement mode. Like, was it frustrating at one point in time? Yes, because you could tell it was just something that they could solve so easily. But I would be more in favor of them trying to build on top of it, pardon the pun. It's just a matter if they do it right. And if they ruin another game with it, or not ruin, but if they hurt another game with it, I think it might be time to just call it quits.
I trust them. I think they'll be able to do it for sure. Sorry.
And to add on to what Paul was saying, imagine like and what you were saying, Maddie, imagine if you could also find like meet architects on different planets, and learn their building styles, and then take it to your own settlements and build with different, like that's how you
unlock like cultures and stuff.
Yeah, like different cultures. And
different
styles.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because, especially on a crafting level, because you know we're so used to every Bethesda Game Studios world is like effectively one world space, right? And so each region would have different plants and animals, but now that has to be drastically different per planet you're going to visit. So that would have to be reflected in a crafting system. Like maybe you have to go to planet A to get this plant, and then planet B to get this piece of meat. And when you mix them together, something happens. Because it's going more galactic, I think they have to go wide with everything building. So it's kind of like a dangerous game to play, but again, I think they can figure something fun out with it, which is encouraging to say the least.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Peebus, it's been great talking to you, and thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for
talking. It was a good question.
Me, guys.
Absolutely. Great question, and we look forward to chatting with you more in the future.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And shout out to Sean Mason.
Yeah.
He's always got the best fucking school stories, man.
Sean gets all the love in this show.
Right, for sure. All right, boys. Take it easy.
All right. Peace out, Peebus. Great talking to you.
You too.
Great audio quality.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I immediately when I heard Peebus join, I heard the audio. I was like, yes. Like, let's go.
Yeah, we love to see that. We just got a quick super chat here from, I was trying to read his name while we were talking to Peebus, but I still don't know if I could pronounce this right. Ian Dudable, I think is Ian Dudable.
It's inaudible, but it's like inaudible.
Yeah. Good catch.
Dude Abel 81.
Something. He writes in with a super chat saying, "Hey Paul and Maddie, just wanted to say thanks for what you guys are doing here with Ham Radio Live. It's a great way to start off my weekend, and I hope to call in soon. Much love." Thank you. We really appreciate that and your support, and we're happy to start off your weekend on the right note. All right. Time for some news. Yeah, we got some good news here. So let's start off with the headliner. PlayStation's Game Pass has leaked via Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. It's codenamed Spartacus right now, and the service will merge PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. It'll retain PS Plus branding, but it's going to phase out PS Now. There will be 3 tiers in this brand new subscription service. Tier 1 will offer the same PS Plus benefits that you know of right now. Then the second tier will offer a large catalog of PS4, and the wording is eventually PS5 games. And then Tier 3 will add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of PS1, 2, 3, and PSP classics. PlayStation also is reportedly focusing on putting resources more into cloud gaming. So this is exciting because Game Pass is finally going to get its competitor. PlayStation promised a while ago they were going to make one. Lot to dissect here because we're looking at kind of like paid for back compat. price on nostalgia, kind of like what Nintendo's done. But for PlayStation, it's been so long overdue. And with Xbox shutting down back compat, like this is where my head went right away. Is like, okay, we still like the torch is being passed on. But
Right.
in a complete nutshell, how are you feeling about what we're seeing with a PlayStation Game Pass competitor, at least at face value? We don't have the price details here, which are pretty impactful, and we will learn more about them.
It's interesting because we've seen this with Nintendo, which I'm not really a big fan of, and you're not either of these. Almost now we have like tiered subscriptions, right? I know Game Pass has Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, but they're pretty much the same. The only other difference is you get PC access with Ultimate, right? So I don't know. I'm a super big fan of any competitor to Game Pass, right? Because Game Pass, as we both know, is incredible. I think it's gonna it's absolutely digging its hole and shaping the industry in its own way.
Yep.
Because of how. Do we know the numbers on the success of Game Pass?
Last we
I don't
heard
think
was 18 million. They have not updated the number since.
Well, that sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, so I imagine it's been successful for them considering they keep adding to it and stuff. So it's good that that's creating some competitiveness, and now we're getting something with PlayStation. I'm a little worried with the tiers though. Granted, I do like that they're phasing out PlayStation Now because fuck PlayStation Now. Shit sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no other way to say it.
We get to
Sucks.
play Sly maybe now finally without the
Dude.
lag.
What I was gonna say, I can finally play Sly too.
Mhm.
So what I'm hoping is they leave PS Plus as is, same price, tier 1, and then I don't like that there's 3 tiers. Just give us 2. Like I don't want 3 because I feel like most people are gonna get 1 or 3. It's like the small drink, medium drink, large drink conundrum. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
And also all the stuff I want, of course, is on tier 3. But
Yeah.
I'm just worried about pricing. But other than that, this is very, very good news for PlayStation. I'd argue it's probably the best news for them we've seen all year because finally, people have been complaining so much about with Nintendo and everybody that we don't have access to these old games because they're not in production anymore. They're not for sale anymore. So the fact that they're bringing them to PlayStation is good. But the key here, Matt, as with anything, is execution. Will they execute it well? Are they going to drop the ball like Nintendo and give us these horrible, horrible emulations where you can just go on your PC, go on like a shitty laptop and emulate these games better?
Yeah.
Or are they going to be like Microsoft and have like 4K 60 frame per second original Xbox games? I guess we'll see. But I trust PlayStation.
Yeah, and it's funny because you put it really well with the idea of it's about execution because I think of like if you put Nintendo Switch Online right now on paper and they went, hey, $20 a year and you'll get a ton of NES and NES game or NES and SNES games available to you, and for another upgrade you'll get a library of Sega Genesis and N64 games. Without any numbers there outside of just the initial starting point there, like on paper, I think a lot of people go, oh, this sounds pretty good. So I think price is going to be a huge determining factor here. I think the other determining factor here is because it mentions PS3, which PlayStation has notoriously not been able to get PS3 games working on even PS4, let alone PS5. So really what's important here is will these be streamed or will they be downloaded natively?
They got to step away. They got to step away from that. Give us both options because streaming through PS Now is horrendous. They need to.
Yeah.
I think I'd argue for most people, maybe like in 20 years, this will be different. I'd argue for most people, seeing that you have to stream the PS1, 2, 3, and PSP classic games would just be an instant turnoff because nobody wants to do that. You don't have Xbox's infrastructure. You're not Microsoft. You don't have access to this really good cloud platform. It's not going to be the same. It won't, and it'll suck if they do that.
Yeah, because that's what I'm worried about. If you can download it, that'd be great. Because the wording here, and I made sure to copy and paste directly from the article, is it adds extended demos. It allows for game streaming and a library of PS1, 2, 3, and PSP classics. To me, the separation between game streaming and then a library of these games would say, to me at least, they're downloadable, which would be great. I'm just curious what PS3 games they figured out. And the other step here is like Game Pass, as we already know, is a machine, right? Not in like its dominance, but I'm saying it's a machine. Like it's even in Halo Infinite's month, they're like, hey, Alien Fireteam Elite, like this game just came out a couple months ago and boom, it's in Game Pass right now. Like it's coming out a week, not even a week after Halo Infinite. And they got stuff in the front of December. And they've got the Gunk coming out, which is one of their exclusives at the end of December. It's like they've got a ton of these things happening. It's a machine. It's being fed. It's doing really well. And what I'm wondering about is we just saw Nintendo add Paper Mario starting this month, right? They're adding Paper Mario. It's just their one game, right? Their one N64 game, and they're really going to drag us along here. You already know they're going to, right?
Yeah, that was some heated news.
Yeah, right? And so I'm wondering, this sounds like on paper a great starting point. What's the cadence of additions? Because that's what these subscription services need. Like even Game Pass, its relevance really hinges on its ability to not only add worthwhile content, but the amount at which it comes out at.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's something that will also be a determining factor, because I think that's sort of what you see. You even see that with like Xbox games with gold and PlayStation Plus games. People are always comparing them and what's better for this month and what have you. So that'll be a big determining factor for some, because if they're not getting constant drops on there, once people might unsubscribe, they're like, well, I already played the games I want to play. So I don't think we'll get launch exclusives for it unless they're charging like $20 a month. Like I don't think we'd get that, because a lot of people buy PlayStations for their exclusives, and I think there's just too much money to be made there.
Yeah.
Would it be nice? Yeah. I don't think we will.
Yeah, I don't think this leads to day one drops on this service at all. I would be happy to be wrong about that, by the way, because that would make a really big statement, right? If PlayStation went like because Xbox's thing is, we've always said it, is like they can afford to do this, right? They got Microsoft at their back. PlayStation is the biggest part of Sony, so they need to make sure they are self-sustained constantly. Can they truly say God of War Ragnarok is a part of PlayStation Plus now, whatever the fuck they're going to call it, PlayStation Spartacus? Can they really say, I don't think, not that they can't, but I don't think they will. They don't need to. Would you rather put it a part of your subscription service, or when you know your fans are going to pay $70, 20 million of them plus will pay $70 a piece? At that point, it's like, you're going to just sell it, right? There's, Xbox hasn't seen that. They've seen high player counts, but not that sales count.
I'd argue it's a bad sales move, because, I mean, Sony's in the position. If you look at Xbox and Sony, Sony has the better exclusives, because, once again, people buy their consoles for their exclusives. Not everyone, but a lot of people do. Besides Nintendo, but they're fuck Nintendo. They're different.
Uwu in chat brought up something that I had forgot about, but did see, is the patents for PlayStation games, PlayStation 1 through 3 games, suggested that it should actually be native. And I do remember seeing those patents, which would make a lot of sense here. And it makes me think of that patent as well, which gives me a little bit of hope, that PlayStation Switch kind of console that was patented and it was trademarked and all that. And I'm wondering like if they're going to do another Vita at some point. I wish, but I doubt it. It's probably just there in case we want to do it. But
I don't know. It's the Steam Deck coming out.
True.
You got the Switch already. That would make Microsoft create one too. Dude, come on.
I know.
Please.
Bring back handheld gaming, man. This is the era.
Let's see, like they have their streaming service. We have our cell phone, so maybe they don't see a need to. I mean, it is like if it flops, it flops type deal. Granted, it's Microsoft. Like you said, they have room to wiggle around. The biggest company in the world, I think. So
yeah,
there's not much.
Them and Apple go back and forth. So
yeah.
Otherwise, though, one thing I just thought of, because it mentions PS Plus benefits. They have the PlayStation Plus collection as well. Have you ever gone into that on PS5?
Yes, I did touch it for I think Bloodborne. Although I have Bloodborne physically, but I used it because I didn't want to put my disc in.
Right.
There was something else I played on there, but I have like so many of them that are like on there.
Yeah.
Like they have the original Persona 5 and not Royal. Like.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I'm wondering what happens with that, right? Because
I think they just blended into it.
Yeah, is that part of because it mentions Tier 1 is PS Plus benefits, which would include the PS Plus collection. Then Tier 2 is offering a large catalog of PS4 and eventually PS5 games. So is that separate from the PS Plus collection? And they haven't, as far as I remember, I could be wrong in this, but they haven't added anything to the PS Plus collection.
I'm pretty confident they haven't.
Right.
It was, I think it almost was like a consumable, if you will, like a one time, like new console, here you go. We know there's not a lot of games on there, so PS Plus collection.
Right, and it had a lot of the highlights from PS4.
Yeah, and you could play them, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some of them had upscaling with a frame rate because of PS5. So yeah, um, I think when we get this new, what is it, Spartacus, it'll blend into like the PS Plus collection will blend into that. It'll be part of that library, and you just won't have that anymore because it would be kind of useless. Although if you do stay with PS Plus, I guess you would lose access if they did blend it. So I don't know. I don't. That's a good question.
Yeah, there's another question here. Rented Mood had Rented Moon. I called them Rented Mood. Had super chatted saying, also, can you buy the games at a discount and are backwards compatible, purchasable? Right. So it's another good question because Xbox Game Pass, if you have a game in that library and you want to buy it, it's at a 10% discount always. So you save a little bit of money there. And then backwards compatible games being purchasable, I think, is the bigger aspect, quite honestly.
Yeah, way bigger.
Because, you may not want to sign up for tier 3 of whatever this subscription service is, but you might want to play, I don't know, like Dark Cloud or
Ape
something.
Escape.
Ape Escape. Sure. Yeah. Sly 2. You might want to play these games, but you don't want to become a part of the service. You want to maybe just download them separately.
It doesn't include Vita games, right?
It just said PS1, 2, 3, and PSP classics.
That's weird. They would no Persona 4 on PS5 yet.
No, that's a good thought. But honestly, a lot of the Vita games that were really definitive for that platform, like a Danganronpa, Persona 4 Golden, the whole laundry list of them all, Tearaway, like they've all been taken off Vita and just resold on PS4. So there's not, It's funny because I think that would be a part of it. It's great that you bring it up. I think it would be a part of it, but there's just not much left for them to take, really. Yeah. And anything that is left there is a bunch of like visual novels that are very, very niche. So it's like, we'll just leave those there. Why not?
Right.
PSP is the one that has me the most excited, though. Like Crisis Core, just getting my hands on that. Do you think, and obviously we're going to go a little crazy with the speculation here, because with that in mind, do you think we're going to see them say, like, okay, let's put trophies in these classics?
No.
Okay.
No, because I think that maybe a select few games for sure, but there's studios that have existed before that don't exist now, and it would require PlayStation to go into those games, program the trophies into them, into like the old code or whatever it is, and decide where they'll be.
Right.
So I don't think so, but maybe for select titles like Crisis Core, for example.
I hope.
Dude, I just realized, I think Persona 3 Fest is PSP, right?
Yes. Or actually, no, Persona 3 Portable. Sorry, Fest is PS2.
Oh, it's fine.
But that's honestly, Portable's got a lot of the better story elements, although the gameplay is not as good. But yeah,
it's got good music though.
Really there's so many classes. Like they do. Oh my god, it's not Valkyria Chronicles. Oh my god, it's a Valkyrie game. I'm forgetting it, but people will remember. It's like this 2D side scroller, but it's also like a tactics combat game. Oh, someone in the chat will get it for me, but it's a PSP exclusive game. Like there's a cover art of a woman like looking up and there's tears running down her face. Probably one of my favorite cover arts of all time too. I remember seeing that all the time in Walmart when I was a kid, and I just wanted to buy the game because of that. But it's a Valkyrie game, and it's got really cool choice and consequence. I'd love to see that. Mega Man Powered Up, Mega Man X Maverick Hunter, like bring those back. Holy shit. Valkyrie Profile. Thank you, Geraldo. Thank you. Valkyrie Profile. Yeah. Those games are rad.
Someone mentioned a Siphon Filter, like Dark Mirror, bro. That was like my PSP game I got at launch, or not launch, but when I got my PSP. I got a lot of memories with that game.
New SOCOM. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah. That's a great suggestion. So there's a lot. That's the thing. I always mention that with when we started defining Duke, one of our first questions we really got a lot was like, does Xbox have that same nostalgic power as PlayStation? And my answer was always no. Like Xbox has a couple of IP, but look what they've built now. Like there's something about like you could put Aloy on a t-shirt and sell it, but I don't think you could put I don't know if you could put like Rasputin from Psychonauts 2 right now on a shirt and expect that to sell as hot. And I know those are two completely different games. My point being is I think that these PlayStation IP, Twisted Metal, like even they're just much more marketable, and there's a nostalgic power there that can be weaponized for both good and evil. So we'll see. But there is a lot of potential here in a backwards compatible library from them. So I hope it doesn't disappoint. Dylan Collins is another super chat saying, I believe they will add trophies to the old games like they did with the PS2 on PS4 games. That's a good point.
Did they do that?
They no, but like it's not the. They like retooled those games almost. Like I think a Star Wars Bounty Hunter is an example. Like that was almost an HD port, if you will.
Okay.
So I don't know what tweaking they'll do here.
I imagine they would tweak some of the games because like I'd argue they'd have to for like even PS2. You know,
I think it'd be such a great move. I would love for them to do that.
That would be game changing. I mean, like Nintendo dropped the ball. This is their opportunity to swoop in and say, I guess Xbox already has Game Pass, but they can put themselves up there with Xbox. They really try.
Yeah, just a good value battle. And here's the dangerous game they play, right? I think this would be a good wrap-up point. The dangerous game they play is if they fuck up the pricing. Think of what happens if they go like it's $30 for the tier 3.
No way. No shot.
Like $25, $30 even. Like I think that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
I think we could see.
Like
$30 a month.
They stand to make Xbox Game Pass look even better if they're like it's $25, right? And you look at Game Pass, like if I'm Phil, I'm like whatever price plans we had, I don't care who we buy, I don't care what happens, hold that price. Do not change it because you have a chance to look so fucking good if they drop the ball on that. And I would just kick my feet up and watch.
I don't know if they will. Do you think Nintendo's was egregious to where it was like really bad with the
with the N64, the expansion pack? Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah. I thought if you were buying into it, if you were not, I thought it wasn't worth it either way for starters. But if you were buying in as a brand new subscriber, it was a ripoff. If you were buying in from an upgrade perspective, it wasn't as bad, but their effort sucked.
I don't know.
It was still pretty
eventually
bad.
It just switches over because mine was like $43, and I had like almost a year, so it wasn't worth it to me. I didn't do it.
Definitely not. So a lot of exciting potential here in the PlayStation Game Pass, and of course, we could also think about the idea of them pricing it below Game Pass, which would be nuts. But I doubt it. I just don't know if they could really confidently do that for a long term.
No, my prediction is like keep PlayStation Plus the same, 15 for tier 2, 20 for tier 3 because they're feeling a little ballsy. That's my guess.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I could see this going high, but we'll see.
I hope not, bro. Oh, God.
Because they know people want a lot of things that people really want is in tier 3, and it reminds me a lot of Nintendo. Like I could see them.
Yeah.
Like 25, I could see them pushing for that.
The thing is, like, Xbox went in knowing they weren't going to get a return on their investment for months, maybe even a year or two.
Yeah.
We don't know because, once again, stats for this shit is, like, impossible to find.
They've said now, like, it's super profitable. Like, they're saying, they're insisting. Like Phil said, like, it's not, like, their main thing. It's, like, a thing that runs itself. So, sorry, complete your thought. I thought that was useful information to have.
I almost feel as if Sony's going to have to go in knowing, like, we might not see immediate, like, because I think Nintendo was going for that, like, give us some money. Give us that surge in our stock, in our share. But I don't think, I hope Sony doesn't go down that route because that way it'll help them sort of get their foot in the door and get people buying in. But if they did that, imagine they, like, raise prices or something.
Yeah.
A little Uber action there, like just fuck people over.
Yeah, right. It could go north or south here. And what's interesting is some of the chat's already mentioning it too. What's funny is for the whole time Game Pass was relevant, it was like we don't want to play old games on PlayStation. We play new experiences.
Yeah.
We don't need Game Pass. We support the devs. And I'm like, yo, you all are in for a rough go. You are not going to be able to take your victory lap because of all the Game Pass slander that I have witnessed. It's like, no. No victory lap for you.
All the Sony ponies on Twitter in your comment section.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Game Pass sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I've had videos made about me of people saying like I'm not supporting developers. I'm just like,
wow.
Yeah. It's funny now. It was
like these massive cash checks for Game Pass.
I know, right? Yeah, the poor developers who are walking away with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Feel so bad for them as I download their game and, by the way, make them more money through that. Like, oh man, how rough they have it. But
now their game's more relevant. That's a big problem.
Yeah, right. And with PlayStation having a Game Pass competitor, if you're on there too, like, oh, that's sad. But it'll be interesting too to see. I keep saying things will be interesting. I got to stop that. It's going to be cool to see what kind of deals get struck with this, though. Like, now you're going to start to see Game Pass isn't the only sheriff in town, if you will. They're not going to be able to say, like, okay, you strike a deal with our service. Like, you got to outbid PlayStation on certain games.
That just means more money going into these devs because we're going to see some competitive pricing here.
It's going to be really cool to see. So, really, really excited to see what PlayStation does this spring, apparently. Shout out to Jason Schreier for the report. All right. Let's move on to...
the weirdest one for today, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of pisses me off a little bit. I'll be honest.
Yeah. This is kind of
weird.
all you because I know you love It Takes Two. I just want to read the article real quick. Hazelight has abandoned the It Takes Two name after a Take-Two trademark claim. So this comes from Game Informer. Hazelight Studio, the team behind A Way Out and this year's It Takes Two, has abandoned the trademark behind It Takes Two, the name of the game, after Take-Two Interactive filed a trademark claim against it. It has been revealed. This news comes by way of Eurogamer, which reports that Hazelight has indeed abandoned its trademark for the game's name, but remains hopeful as a studio that a resolution can be reached. The publication reports indicate that Take-Two filed a trademark claim against Hazelight shortly after It Takes Two was released. Records show that Hazelight then abandoned ownership of the name. Eurogamer reached out to Hazelight for comment, but was told the studio cannot comment on ongoing disputes, but the team is hopeful it will be resolved. As noted in the report, Hazelight did not dispute that it was forced to abandon its trademark in the name It Takes Two due to Take-Two's claim, which can be viewed on a notice of the abandonment from the U.S. Patent Office. Despite speculation that this trademark claim might result in Hazelight having to change the name of the latest game, industry analysts believe that's not the case. Quote, the trademark conflict means that Hazelight can't protect the name, not that they will be forced to change it, end quote. F Squared consultancy founder and industry analyst Mike Futter wrote on Twitter, quote, they could change if they want to protect the name, but honestly, it's probably not worth it to them to do that. End quote.
Wow.
Yeah, how are you feeling about this? Take-Two's just all over the fucking place with their lawyers, man. They're ridiculous.
Dude, what I feel like Take-Two's just throwing money to the fire because what does this do for them? Like how in any when you think of nobody thinks of it or Take-Two games. They think of 2K or Rockstar. Or whatever the hell is under their fucking umbrella. So why are they going out to attack Hazelight, who has like this pretty successful game, like this? I wouldn't say no-name studio, but like up and coming, whatever.
Right.
Because they named their game It Takes Two. It's ridiculous, and fuck Take-Two for that. I don't know why. Like I want to know what their thought process is because I don't know if you did. I don't know if anyone else did, but was there ever any correlation or any connection drawn between like when you hear It Takes Two, you don't think of Take-Two Studios or whatever the hell.
No,
you just don't. It's a very weird.
I actually genuinely didn't think of this until I saw this trademark claimed. It's like
Take-Poo.
Yeah, it's like a Stockholm syndrome. It's like I wasn't really focusing on it until they brought it to my attention, and even then I'm just like, okay, I'm a smart enough person to know the difference.
It doesn't damage their brand or their games because all their games go under different studios anyway, besides 2K. But like that's not really this. That's like whatever. And then to what we later on he says that Take-Two's being very very aggressive about it, and it's like, dude, fuck off. It's like it's like this smaller game that it pisses me off, man. Because that game's amazing. Go play it if you haven't played it, Matt. I know you haven't. Go get Laylee. Go play this game. It's really good.
Go reel her in.
Fuck Take-Two.
Yeah, for real.
Well, no, like what's the
Joseph Fares, yeah. I cannot wait to see him on the Game Awards stage now. Yeah, he's gonna flip them off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just it's funny they have a history of doing this. I remember with Borderlands 3, and I thought that I kind of understood where they were coming from. They were aggressive though, which they've shown a repeat pattern of this. But we've seen them sue modders. That's not what I'm talking about. What I understood to an extent was when they went after Submato. Again, they were really aggressive, and they didn't have to be such pieces of shit over it because to the point of he never came back. He never came back, and they put the fucking FBI on him and stuff. But this was because he had Borderlands 3 information. He was leaking it a ton, and he had like a paid-for members Discord server, I think it was, where he was leaking stuff about Borderlands 3 through there. Like, hey, if you want the scoop before the scoop goes public, you can go there.
That's pretty fucked.
Yeah, he was kind of selling trade secrets in a way, right? And so I understand why Take-Two got involved on that level. Did they need to send like FBI, cops, or whatever it was after him to interrogate him and like freak him the fuck out off the platform. I don't know.
I'm in disagreement there. I think he fucking deserves it. If you have a Patreon set up with a Discord to sell these secrets that you're like stealing from a company or whatever, and you're not supposed to be doing already, I think that's pretty fucked. And I support Take Two for that. Because if it was like, let's say if this was happening with Bethesda, I don't know, man. That's like sensitive information that can really like drive. We've seen it. Like it can drive sales and knock sales down. So
yeah, no, I think that was the one I understood. I think there was a way to make them not look awful because they were gonna look like the villains no matter what. And
I just like take them out.
Yeah, they practically like I remember him saying in a video like he was like threatened and stuff. Like it was not pretty. So they have a history of this type of stuff, and it's very mob mentality like. And then again, you see them shooting down any modder imaginable, even modders willing to fix their game. And then you see something like this, which is like now you're talking about your industry colleagues. It's like, okay, you want to go after us, like the consumer who doesn't have that much, but now you're going to go after It Takes Two and Hazelight. I mean, it's just kind of bananas, and it deserved a little bit of conversation, I'd say, but more so just to scratch our heads collectively.
Right. Stone Patrol has absolutely the greatest chat I've seen ever.
That's amazing.
Joseph is going to win an award at the TGAs during speech. I want to announce the rename of It Takes Two that I give two shits. See, that's something I can see him doing. Like, that's just a fair.
If he wins, he needs to rename that game and just make it like
right there.
Like, something about like a play on words of taking two or something like that, or taking poo. I don't know, but
it takes poo.
Yeah, because that would be incredible. But
right.
Yeah, that's what's going on with It Takes Two and Take Two Interactive. Anything you want to add on here, or shall we move on?
No, just go play it, everybody. I'm telling you, when you play it, you're gonna be scratching your. Is it?
Mm-hmm. It's on Game Pass now.
You're gonna be scratching your head and thinking about like, man, is this my game of the year? Because it's that good. Also, go buy physical copies in case they change the name of the game. That shit's going up.
Yeah, right. A little long-term investment there.
Go buy a house one day with that.
All right, let's talk about the Game Awards afterwards. We'll get into BioShock.
Game Awards.
Yeah, so Game Awards. I just want to do a quick little, prediction, expectations. More so the expectations because we can talk about possible announcements, that type of stuff.
And our nominations, of course.
Yeah, that's what I meant by the predictions. We can go whichever way you want, whether you want to do predictions on what the nominations will end up being, like as in what will win,
right.
or whatever's going to be there and announced there. I'll let you decide which you want to start with.
Well, I think you said that you already knew which ones you wanted to talk about, so you can take the lead on that for like what nominations and stuff. Because I don't know which ones you thought were worth discussing.
Yeah, well, let's start off with Game of the Year, right? Let's hop into Game of the Year.
The big one.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't mind reading them off, just because I have the two screens up, so I can't.
So we have Deathloop by Arcane Studios. No. It Takes Two, Hazelight Studios. Metroid Dread, Nintendo Mercury Steam. Psychonauts 2 by Double Fine and Xbox Game Studios. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart by Insomniac Games. And Resident Evil Village by Capcom. I got my pick. I already talked about it.
That's true. Yeah, this section's a little short for you, huh? You've already picked your Game of the Year. So what do you think is going to win though? Like amongst the picks by the press who voted for this, and
it's going to be Deathloop.
Yeah,
I feel so strongly that it's going to be Deathloop.
I said the same thing. Yep.
I don't know what else to say other than like, come on, guys, please. We can't have games media and games reviewers being the sole. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Get Game of the Year or whatever. It's still like a marketing show basically.
Yeah.
But I feel as if this is the second time, if that wins, that sort of like the crowd opinion is kind of getting snuffed out a little bit by a select group of people within games media and whatever that influence. I mean, people don't really recognize or remember, but Jeff Keighley was like a games media person in the past.
Yeah.
Like he was a journalist. So I imagine there's some ties there, and I like they have their hands in this. So I think it's going to be Deathloop. I want it to be It Takes Two because It's one of the most innovative games I've played all year, in a while, honestly. It's got great co-op, which is something we need to see more from in games. A nice, hearty, endearing story. Really fun to play with your partner. Great graphics and amazing game mechanics. Like all the time, it's throwing all kinds of different shit at you to try out. Inspires off of a bunch of different games in the right ways. You got some God of War in there. It's
really?
pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll know it when you play it, and it's really fun.
That's great.
But I'm wondering what I think I know yours.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about any of the games on that list, to tell you the truth, outside of maybe Psychonauts 2. And even that was like more of a top 5 floater, not really like a definitive top 3 for me.
Like, it was good.
Yeah, it was a good game, right? And this is a year where you can tell by looking at the list, like it's demonstrably weak because there's no definitive winner. The only one I think I'm with you, I think it's pretty clear. Like, yeah, Deathloop is going to probably take it all here. There seems to be that mindset that this was the platform, this is the future, this was the Arcane game, and as much as I disagree, like that's the pick, like that's the one that they're gonna go for. I feel like Metroid Dread is a recent enough one though that can kind of
Nintendo.
But also it's like I look at something, I get it's just my opinion, but I look at something like Hitman 3, which was just forgotten about. Like no one remembered it fucking existed.
I don't think I saw it on like any of these.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
And it is phenomenal, man. That is an amazing game. And I can't wrap my head around how it's not really cracking any lists. But only thing I can really think of that I think is right on the money is the short-term memory of this industry that always rears its ugly head around this time of the year, where it's about what came out in the last couple of months. I'm surprised even Resident Evil Village was on that list when you really take a look at it, because it was kind of deep in the year, right? It's like we're talking May. Like that's to me surprising.
It was before then, honestly.
Yeah, It Takes Two was February.
I'm really surprised that's on there. But this is a very hyper consumeristic society, especially the gaming industry. So it does make sense. But Hitman was like what, January or February, right?
January, yeah.
I think it was the first 2021 game you were playing.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
You do remember correctly. Yeah, that was the first one I reviewed.
And the fact that Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which in my opinion is one of the most mid games I've ever played, like absolutely, like very mid.
Yeah,
looks great,
Ratchet, but yeah, wasn't that great.
But beyond that, it was just Hitman is not getting snuffed out by that. In my opinion, that's weird. Whatever. So yeah, that's our game of the years. What's the next category, Matt?
I'm trying to go off the dome right now because I don't have the tab up.
Game direction, narrative, art direction,
Let's do narrative. Music. Narrative's always funny.
Yeah. This is gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Deathloop by Arcane Studios.
Oh yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
It Takes Two by Hazelight Studios. Life is Strange: True Colors by Deck 9.
Okay.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy by Eidos Montreal.
Yeah.
Eidos Montreal. And Psychonauts 2 by Double Fine. So basically almost the exact same list. By the way, one thing real quick. Game of the year, Forza, where are you? Hello, guys. But yeah, this one. Best narrative. I've only played 2 of these, but it sure as hell ain't Deathloop, because that game's narrative is poopy.
Death poop.
Death poop.
Yeah, death poop.
I guess I'd say It Takes Two for me. But Guardians apparently has a pretty good story from what I've heard from you.
Yeah. Guardians would be my pick for this one. I actually think it was one of the more, I think there's a surprise factor behind it all, but like genuinely the character development in that game is really, really good. It's a more heartfelt story than I think many people ever anticipated. And it's not just a shock beyond that, it is legitimately good and well told.
Right.
It's also long. Like it's a good 16 hours roughly for most people.
Yeah, that's surprising for me.
Right? And that's not open world. Like that's a story game. I think it fits that category best next to Psychonauts, but to me Psychonauts is about like level design captured in the themes rather than a story being told, which I would say that Guardians does the best.
Right. Yeah. I wish I played more this year, but I did play a lot, but some of these games like Life is Strange, True Colors, I just had no interest in.
No.
I played the first one, which was really good, but the second one didn't care. This one don't care. Psychonauts 2 is the one I do want to play because it really does look interesting, but I just haven't got around to it. It came out when I was in Canada or like around that time, so I just didn't play it. But Guardians is absolutely one I'm going to hit sometime.
Yeah. It's definitely worth your time.
Yeah, and I like the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I do want to play that one.
All right. What other categories are there?
We've got art direction, score and music. I kind of want to do score and music
Let's
because
see.
I'm really
Let's
curious.
see what that is.
We got wow, this is okay. All right, I know my pick. But this is good. You have The Artful Escape by Johnny Galvatron and Josh Abrahams. Cyberpunk 2077, which has a bunch of different composers. Deathloop, I'm just not going to read the composers. Deathloop, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Nier Replicant.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So mine's Nier Replicant because God, that music so good. But here's one thing I like about Deathloop. It had good music. I think it very, very good music for the tone setting.
Yeah.
And just like the atmosphere. I thought it was very, very it really played into like the loop in a way. Like if you play, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's one thing Deathloop got right was like the theming and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think I'm with you on Nier. It's like Nier's music is in a league of its own, not only in the talent that's there and how it sounds and how good it is, but there's no soundtrack that I've heard that I go like, oh, that's kind of inspired from Nier, right? Like you never have that. Remember when we saw Roar, the Island Dragon Roars or whatever? It was that kind of like tabletop game that came out to Switch. Game? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember us hearing that and going like, oh, this kind of looks like or sounds like a Yoko Taro game. And like then it was, right?
Yeah.
And so there's like a clear, unique soundscape for Nier that in his games that exactly. It's like very enchanting. Where I think just it deserves that on its own.
I mean, they created their own language for it.
Right.
So it's really good. And I guess the only thing that would be the fact that it's technically a remake, but I think they had more music or new music in it. So I never played the original, but I don't know. It definitely deserves it. Deathloop is good. Cyberpunk is another one that I think does absolutely deserve that.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's a good nomination for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cyberpunk's music's very, very fitting.
So that one's actually a tough category.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
I like that too. I didn't play The Artful Escape. I don't know if anyone in the chat did. I actually don't even know what it is, if I'm totally honest.
It's an out there kind of game. Not bad. From what I've seen.
It looks like a Life is Strange type game. You know what I mean? Like
it's like a 2D journey type game. Like you just kind of the guy's like playing a guitar. I don't really know how it plays, but it's not like it's not even a walking sim or anything. It's a weird game, weird looking game.
So we have best art direction, best performance, best ongoing.
Best performance. What would be a standout performance this year? I'm wondering.
I know my pick, but there's there's two here from the same game, so I'll read them out. You have Erica Mori as Alex Chen in Life is Strange, Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo from Far Cry 6.
Oh my God.
Jason Kelly as Colt Vaughn from Deathloop. Maggie Robertson as the Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil Village. And I'm going to butcher this. Ozioma Akaga as Juliana Blake. Another thing Deathloop did amazingly was the voice acting and the narrative, and those two characters, Colt and Juliana, had great synergy, and both the voice actors did an amazing job. So it would be hard to pick from those two.
Yeah.
But I'd say for me, it would probably have to be Colt because he was really funny.
I'm with you. Yeah. You just hear more of Colt. It's not even Juliana's worse.
Yeah.
You kind of experience way more of Colt. So
yeah,
I'm with you on that. That's actually a pretty easy pick, I think. Yeah. Colt was like pretty definitively a really good performance.
Yeah, like I would say like those two in the game, especially Colt, like made that experience so much more fun and interesting because otherwise it's a very fun game, but otherwise like I didn't care about the narrative at all, but they made me care like just enough, like just a little smidge.
Lady Dimitrescu would have been great, but she just wasn't in the game long enough, I don't think. So
yeah,
kind of fell short.
In my opinion, the castle was like one of the best sections too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just I thought she was gonna be the full game the way it was getting talked about, but sadly it was not.
Well, we have to do best role playing because RPG channel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did this on Defining Duke. I remember this was an interesting one.
Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red, Monster Hunter Rise by Capcom, Scarlet Nexus by Bandai Namco, Shin Megami Tensei 5 by Atlas Sega, and Tales of Arise by Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
So What you got, Matt? Because there's some bangers here.
Yeah, I said for Cyberpunk, you just on principle alone, even though that would be like the game I like the most, honestly, like it would just on principle, you can't give that game an award for a best of category. You can't.
That's the one thing we had a discussion, and I disagree with you in this department.
Right.
We don't have to. Mine is Cyberpunk because I didn't care for Tales of Arise. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of people like that. Even people who don't really play JRPGs jumped into it. And
it's
really
very accessible. Yeah, I get why.
I like a lot of it, but I actually dropped it. So SMT5, I want to get around to. It looks really fun, and I'm kind of upset with myself because I was really against it because it wasn't a lot like Persona, which is what I like from that series. But I watched you play, I watched a few other people play it, and it does look good. I didn't play any of the others. I know you played everything here.
Yeah, I get why you would pick Cyberpunk because I do think Cyberpunk's literally the best on that list, like as a game. But I just feel like you set a really dangerous principle if you go like, yeah, this is the best RPG of the year. Even though it came out, it was broken and it was removed from storefronts. Like, I just think it's a really bad choice. No, I'm saying for like the press to say it wins. They can nominate it. I get why it got a nomination because I think it is one of the better AAA RPGs out there when it works. But I would pick SMT5. I think it marks number one next to Cyberpunk. I think it checks all the boxes of what an RPG is, like the combat, the builds, the diversity of your party, the exploration. Like it just hits all of those really well. I think it's a role-playing game in a lot of the truest sense. So the weakness targeting, the inventive systems like Magatsuei, is a lot there. I'm only 30 hours in, but so I can't say definitively, but that would be right now my pick. I love Tales of Arise, but action RPGs just never, to me, have the depth of what a turn-based game can have.
They never will.
Yeah, they never will. They're too thoughtful and methodical.
Mm-hmm. We missed a super chat, but I can read it out from Proxidova for $5. Proxidova, I love you for this, but Matt, why haven't you played It Takes Two?
I don't know. I wanted to play with my girlfriend. She moved into a new place, so that ate up a lot of time that we would have spent playing it.
Over.
And
Next
so, the thing is, it's not a quick bang out kind of game. So it's like when we start, she has to be ready to game. She has to be ready.
12 hours.
Yeah,
you can do it.
I can do it.
She's gonna be hooked. That's the thing, because it's very accessible.
Yeah.
I can see Lily grinding this out. You got to do it.
No, she's the thing is, yeah, we actually, it's funny enough, we were talking about that, and she was like, I'm getting back into games now, so that's exciting. We will probably be playing it. Just I don't know if it'll be in time for any game of the year conversation.
So
you always have that one game you regret.
What was that?
Like you always have the one game on your game of the year list. Like you'll miss it, and you play it afterwards, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, damn, I should have been there.
Yep.
We can do a few more. We have best fighting, family, sim strategy, sports racing. That's Forza. Multiplayer, content creator of the year, anticipated game, and then esports stuff. We're not going to do that.
What's the anticipated games? I'm wondering what's on that list.
I know what mine is already, but we have Elden Ring from Software, God of War Ragnarok from Sony Santa Monica, Horizon Forbidden West from Guerrilla, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild by Nintendo, and Starfield. Says the games. My pick. Actually don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. There's two. There's two there.
But Starfield and Breath of the Wild. I'm like a big Breath of the Wild guy. Huh.
Yeah, me less so. Elden Ring, because I've laid my hands on it, is like living rent free in my head on how good I think that game was, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the full thing. But I know the magic of BGS, man. I feel like it's here where, I just can't shake that off. I can't shake off the good vibes I'm getting from this one. But it's not even hype. It's like they're speaking differently about it. To me, that
like Todd he's coming out and he's like, guys, this is different.
Yeah. And to say that is a big step forward for them, honestly, to kind of be like, it's more hardcore and the exploration mechanics are different. Like, it just sounds like it's going to be a really good change up. And when they're building a new engine, I obviously my fanship plays a factor in this, but it's just as a longtime studier of them, I can't help but look at them and go like, I can't wait till I can play that game.
I think that's totally fair for you and your channel, and it's on my list too. But this is the most anticipated game, and I am very anticipated for Starfield, but it is BGS, and they've had some poopy come out recently. So, so, so I'm gonna go with the safer pick here and go with Elden Ring because God, here's the reason why. It's because I already got a taste of it. You know, I got that little droplet in my mouth, so now I'm like, I need more. I'm very anticipated. And from what I played of Elden Ring, aside from like some very minor concerns, it's going to be a banger. It'll be a banger for sure.
I absolutely agree. Because that's the thing is like, what am I looking most forward to? Starfield. But what do I think has a good chance of hitting Game of the Year? Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, that and Breath of the Wild sequel. But I feel like Breath of the Wild sequel is in an iffy spot because like the magic of Breath of the Wild is already out there. Like what wowed people, like all the systems and mechanics, like that's already. They already played that card, and I don't think you can really wow people with it twice unless you introduce a shit ton of new mechanics.
Yeah.
So it'll be tough for them.
Definitely.
Did you want to hit any other multiplayer, family fighting?
I'm personally good.
Yeah, I think
we hit it all.
I think we're yeah. It sucks that Halo isn't on the multiplayer, but
yeah, didn't make the cut even though they released it early. I think they were trying to, but
yeah.
We still got exciting news though. We got to talk about BioShock 4 is what we're going to codename it right now.
Oh, yeah. This was like, I joined, Matt and I joined like 5 or 10 minutes early just to like get things in order. And Matt's like, yo, did you hear the BioShock news? And I went to BioShock Isolated or whatever the fuck it was called. But no, this is new, Matt. Take it away.
Right. So we've got, according to Colin Moriarty, host of Sacred Symbols, I've worked with Colin quite a bit. Some of you may or may not know that. BioShock 4 will take place during the 1960s in a fictional Antarctic city. This matches what VGC has been told by their own sources. Narratively, the game will be tied to previous BioShock games, claimed Colin, and developer Cloud Chamber is targeting a 2022 release. I actually listened to the show, and I talked to, again, I said this at the top of the show, but I talked to Colin, and I knew a lot of this was inbound. And we're going to talk about it more on the channel in an expanded conversation so I can kind of pick his brain and see what else is lingering that maybe he didn't have a chance to talk about with BioShock 4. But he went into a lot of his process with like getting the data there. And he spoke to someone who worked on the original BioShock who then got details about something completely else that they had to keep off the record. So there's two possible settings that we can get into. But what we do know about here is a 1960s fictional Antarctic city. And I want to know where you're at with this because everyone kind of went to like BioShock in space. Like that's where it's got to go. But it seems like that's not the case here. So how are we feeling about all of this?
You know, as a Fallout fan, 60s already just speaks to me. It sings to me, if you will. I'm a big fan of that. We've already seen it with BioShock, but I have this adoration for that time period. So already a big fan there from like 40s to 60s. Give me anything in that time period. The one thing I don't mind this, but it's weird they say Antarctic because I almost felt like BioShock 1 kind of could have had an Antarctic feel to it. Like I remember the one place that comes to mind was the fish area. There was a lot of ice and underwater stuff. So I don't know. It'd be cool if there was like a on top of the Arctic or whatever, you had city, and then it goes into like a Rapture-like area underneath.
Right.
I think that'd be pretty neat. It'll be interesting to see how they do a BioShock game in like modern times because they really have to evolve the I guess I'd say the gameplay formulas, right? BioShock 1 to 2, I didn't play 2. 1 to Infinite, I'm going to make the comparison. They did enough comparison and they did enough innovation and made it more playable to warrant like that sequel. But do you think BioShock 4 is going to have that where like they take a leap forward, like really improve the first person shooting mechanics and add on to what are they called, your
plasmids, the vigors? Yeah. You know, it's funny because one thing that Colin mentioned when I was listening to the show is he said that they're keeping this very much locked down tight because they are nervous about the comparisons they're going to get to Ken Levine in the original BioShock. And I thought that was kind of telling maybe on how the gameplay and the flow of the world might be.
Right. Well, like I said, the world, in my opinion, will probably look more like BioShock 1 because of like the setting. So yeah, that's I'm not surprised that they're worried about that.
Yeah, but I thought this was really neat to see because it kind of subverted our expectations, and it sort of fits that isolationist, seceding point of view that all the locations we've explored, Rapture and Columbia, in the BioShock universe, where like Antarctica is just kind of this. I forget about Antarctica, and we live here on fucking Earth, right? Like I forget that's even a thing. So to go there,
isn't it the biggest continent?
I think so. Yeah, now you mentioned
that
it.
or Africa. It's like one of the biggest continents. So yeah, there's all kinds of land there for people to use and build on. Space was a good pick because like they're trying to get away from everything. We went underwater. No one's gonna go there. People came there. We're going into the sky. No one's gonna come there, and then people come there. So Antarctica's a good pick. It's too fucking cold. No one cares.
Yeah, right.
That's I'm surprised they went with that. It would have been like that or the Saharan Desert, and they do like a nice like Middle Eastern theme for the game. But
I wouldn't dig that, but 2022 release as well. How do you feel about that? I'm telling everyone, man, like prepare yourselves for some business decisions.
It's going to be a banger year.
Yeah, like we're going to have to make some real calls on like games we're going to play and games you're going to have to skip or wait on because there's so much that's going to come out. This is another one. Like to me, BioShock's a must play. Like I don't care who's making it. It's BioShock. Yeah. I got to play this.
I mean, we haven't heard anything about it. It depends on how long we haven't heard anything officially about it. So it depends on when it's been in how long it's been in development for, and like, are there any problems with COVID? We're seeing a new variant coming out, so that could absolutely impact some of this shit. I honestly, if they had to push it back, I wouldn't mind. But 2022 release, it's not even like second quarter 2022 release, like the 2022. Right. We haven't seen anything about it. So my pick or my guess is we'll see an E3 reveal or like early 2022 reveal, and then we'll.
Sure. And with that, we actually it slipped my mind too. Do you see this happening at the Game Awards, like some type of trailer or announcement there? And we can talk, of course, about other stuff that we expect to see at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I actually can because it's funny that this news is coming out shortly before the Game Awards, right? So it could have easily slipped. I would love to see that. I think that's actually a really good pick. I didn't consider that Game Awards because I always forget it when I'm thinking of like game reveals and shows and stuff. But that'd be a huge one if Jeff Keighley snagged that.
I know Colin's had this information. He's actually said it on the show, so I can say he's had information on this BioShock game for a while now, like a good couple of months or something like that. So I do expect.
I wonder what made him want to break it?
What's up?
I wonder what made him want to break it.
It was really just verifying information, making sure that he's not going to like share anything incorrect about it. And so he had to talk to some people behind the scenes for a while. But there's a lot that goes into it. So, any other games that you expect to be at the Game Awards?
Game Awards, games coming out. I don't know. Nintendo might have something going on there, their hand in the dish.
Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah, I could see Breath of the Wild 2 popping up. I mean, it's coming out somewhat soon. I would love to see a Mario game, like a new Mario 3D platformer. Yeah. Well, last thing we got was 3D World.
Yeah, right? Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, and in my opinion, Bowser's Fury was like indicative of what we're gonna get somewhat soon. Because it was like an open. I don't know if you played it, Matt, but it was almost like open world.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I saw you play or posted screenshots, and I was like, "Wait, this is way more than I thought it was going to be."
It's all cat themed. Love cats.
Yeah, Kobe the kitten.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. What do you think we're going to see?
I was thinking long and hard about this one. It's totally not me just throwing it on the list again. Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I don't know. Hogwarts Legacy's got some controversies behind it. So maybe.
I don't know. Jeff Keighley clearly doesn't want to pick a side, so he can't pick one here.
Yeah, right.
Fucking show off Hogwarts Legacy. Let's go.
Dude, I want to see more of that game because I don't think it's going to do well. I feel like it's going to be mediocre. I got to see more to confirm my suspicions.
Yeah, right. Same. And like, part of it's I'm biased. Like, I feel like because one of our good
I want
friends,
it to be bad.
yeah, like I want it to be bad because one of our good friends, we love the troll. Like he's like so convinced it's gonna be the game of the year, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like
just that he's like annoying about it. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm not gonna play anything else.
yeah,
Hogwarts
he's
Legacy's
only
coming out.
playing this.
I gotta wait for Hogleg. Like, dude,
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. So I just sorry, the Harry Potter fans, this game needs to suck. A point
Yeah.
needs to be proven here. There was a sacrifice.
Oh, Matt, we have 2 super chats from the same
yes.
person. I
Yes.
didn't notice. Andriy Marinov. I don't know which one was first. So we're gonna read this one.
The narrative one. The first
No.
one that starts with
Okay,
narratives.
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Deathloop's narrative opens up through exploration and has some of the most unique player character and story gameplay connections. That's the reason I got nominated, even if you don't like the story. I appreciate that take. I do agree that it had some interesting narrative takes, and I just, for me personally, they didn't work. Like it didn't connect with me. I can understand how it might have connected with a few others.
There's actually a little bit more.
Yeah. Is that the second part to it?
Yeah, there's a second part that says narrative includes story, plot, world building, characters. Even if you think the story of Deathloop is poopy, you have to acknowledge how rich and deep Arcane Worlds and its little stories are.
For sure.
No, see, here's the thing. I disagree here.
Okay.
I respect what Arcane's done previously, but storytelling's not subtlety. And I think a lot of people do mix that up because like a cool discovery feels good, but I think of it's like we could start talking about how Demon Souls, Dark Souls, like all these are rich worlds that are built for you and they have incredible storytelling because they put item descriptions in these like hidden things that you discover across the world and they unlock key plot details that you were looking for. It's like, to me, that's not good storytelling. That's not good narrative. You're right that it does include plot, world building, story, but it's and characters, but it's also what's said to you. And Deathloop doesn't say much to you after the first hour because every question mark you had about that game is answered right away. And I think that's a sign of like a weaker narrative. It didn't have any extra cards up his sleeve to surprise you, to captivate you. You just get those answers and then you start reading email chains of these. And look, I'm immature, right? I have no problem admitting that. These immature email chains of like these visionaries just going like, we throwing a fucking party night. It's like, to me, that's not character building. That's not captivating to me. It's just there's nothing there. It's like, okay, there are a bunch of idiots who don't give a fuck. Like I got that from the trailer.
It was like the Far Cry 6 narrative situation. I do agree with Andrew that there's like they get some credit for, how they sort of weaved it together. But my main issue isn't really that. It's the fact that the narrative just kind of sucks. Like I can appreciate like plot, world building, characters, whatever. But most of the characters were very uninteresting except for the main two.
Yeah.
The world building you have to spend a lot of time searching for. And I guess it sort of makes sense because you're going through the loops so many times that you might end up like, finding more and more and more as you go. But the plot itself, like the ending itself is, without spoiling it, it's so abrupt and answers almost no questions I had and it's not even a cutscene. It's very, very weird.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think it deserves to be on there.
I look at something like Prey, and that was definitely their best story. Like I love Dishonored more, but Prey's story was legitimately good. I had my issues with how they handled choice and the illusion of it because I thought they completely fumbled that. But Prey as a universe, as a story, especially with Moon Crash in tow, like it's not even close, I don't think. Like there's ways to deliver a story that again, I don't think storytelling is subtlety always. I think that's additive. I think that helps, but I don't think that's the key delivery method that should be done all of Fallout 76. So
yeah,
great write-ins, but
yeah,
I disagree.
Thanks for your input, but Fallout 76 was a monstrosity that failed in every department.
Chasing
because
ghosts.
of that. Yeah, literally. The perfect way to
And what's
describe
funny
it.
is the game we're talking about here, BioShock, really did give birth to a lot of that storytelling, right? The audio logs and hearing characters in their past lives.
Yeah, but they're like one of the first to do it. Like you said, they give birth to it. And I think they do it well enough to where, because
it's the voices, man. Just those 50s voices.
The voices,
so
even the audio quality matches the setting.
Yes, I fucking love it.
But not only that, I feel like the world is so cleverly built to where you want to know. Like you come across the places where these people were. And I know that it happens in Deathloop or whatever. It happens in BGS games, but like with Fallout 76, it felt a lot lazier in my opinion. I thought the world building in that game was way, way worse. But with BioShock, it's really, really good. And it's super fun to explore. It reminds me of like Outlast in a way. I don't know. When I think of BioShock, that's the other game that comes to mind because you have so much world building and notes and blah, blah, blah.
Right. Anyway, Andre, thank you so much for writing in. Those are great statements about the game, and it's good to get those perspectives on death poop. But yeah, nothing else to say about BioShock. Any more predictions on the Game Awards? Like games we'll see there.
Games we'll see. I mean, I think we'll see games that are already coming out. There.
Yeah.
Like, but as for like reveals, I don't know, because I wouldn't know. Maybe we'll see. No, Sony wouldn't reveal their like new Game Pass service there.
No, they said spring anyway in the leak, so
maybe
that's
we'll see
likely
some
not going to happen.
Because that game's coming out soon.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Yeah, Arceus, that'd be really good. AR Gaming has another good pick. Returnal DLC announcement. That'd be interesting. I think that definitely should be on the table. I think Hellblade 2 and I want to say Avowed are pretty much guarantees. Definitely Hellblade 2, but Avowed I'm feeling pretty confident about.
I would love to see. This is like a random pick, Matt. You wouldn't relate to this, but I would love to see Hollow Knight Silk Song, because that game is
that's long overdue though.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people rallying behind it. I mean, they're kind of quieted down because like we don't know where it's at. It was supposed to come out, I think, last year or this year. That'd be fun to see there. I don't know if we will, but that's like my dream. I guess my dream wild card pick.
Good picks. We got one more quick bit of news here, and then we'll wrap up that segment. So let's talk about Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. So last year, this game comes out of nowhere, gives a little remaster. If you're new to Kingdoms of Amalur, I think it's actually pretty good. If you are a returning fan like me, I thought their improvements were really underwhelming. And so they announced now the new expansion for Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning, Fatesworn, will be released this month on December 14th. It's going to be hitting Xbox One, PS4, and PC for the price of $20. Despite being available on Switch, THQ Nordic said that it does not have that version ready yet. Quote, "This year, on December 14th, the journey of the Fateless One continues. After the Crystal War has been fought and Gadlo has been defeated, the people of Amalur were hoping for peace to return to their lands. And although peace has indeed come to Amalur, rumors of a new threat are starting to spread. Rising in the far west, the icy lands of Mithros. None other than Tiligris, the god of chaos himself, has awoken and is gathering followers to throw the whole world into chaos." End quote. THQ Nordic says that Fatesworn adds a whole new storyline to Amalur, new environments to explore, multiple new quests and missions, new Chaos Realm dungeons, extra gameplay mechanics, more weapons and armor, never-before-seen enemies, and more. Plus, raising the level cap of Amalur to 50, and features a brand new soundtrack by the same composer, Grant Kirkhope, who did a phenomenal job with the original game. So, I mentioned how all my reviews were done. We got one more in the chamber, though, it seems. I'm pretty interested in this one, but I'm not feeling confident. They were very quiet with this one. This was a silent announcement, I thought. How are you feeling about? I know you didn't play Kingdoms of Amalur ever, right? So I doubt any of this grabs you at all.
No, but it grabs my attention because, not that I'm going to play it, but my attention because this is a 9-year-old game now, right? This came out in 2012.
Yeah.
And then it got remastered or remade as Re-Reckoning. And now they're doing an expansion for that. So I think that's cool and interesting that they're actually making an expansion for a remade game.
It's crazy it exists.
I appreciate that. I don't know how popular Kingdom is, because I had never heard of it. Not until like right now. I've heard of it when I met you and like you played it and stuff. And I think I did an edit of your review of it. Actually.
Yeah, actually, yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I the game didn't really grab me when I did the edit and when I looked at it, but I do think it's cool that they're doing an expansion for a game that came out 9 years ago.
Yeah, that's the most novel part of all of this, is like this game's actually getting new content.
And they must see profit in it.
I think they do, but they're also, I think, going about it horribly. Like, this was supposed to come out, I think, early this year. So it got a humongous delay. There's no more hype for this game. As much as I'd love there to be, there's no more hype for this game.
Right.
And this is likely going to be a test bed to say, like, hey, do we do a sequel for this? Do we reboot it? Do we bring that MMO back that got canceled? And it's not going to bring them any results because DLC is already under purchased because everyone nowadays, especially, is accustomed to free updates. And
Right.
this is a really, especially for a Western RPG, this is like a niche one. Like it was a hype thing when it was announced and when we were leading up to that release. But otherwise, I don't think many people are going to care about Fatesworn. Like my channel, my audience definitely will, and I'll be right on top of it. But otherwise, I don't know beyond our little pocket if many will care deeply about this one, which sucks to say because, again, it's fucking awesome that they not only resurrected this, but brought it back and then are adding an expansion to it. We'll see how long that is. And they didn't detail, do you need to beat the game to access this? I'm going to talk to some of the folks at THQ Nordic and get some answers on that, provided they're willing to give me them. But otherwise, like I don't know much about this beyond what's been given to us. And I think something like that's really important. Like, is it a part of the adventure where when I hit level 15, 20, I can just go off and do that? Or what's required of this? But still really cool it even exists.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that if you think it's not going to do well and that people aren't hyped for it, it kind of sucks because that means it's going to disincentivize other studios from like bringing a game back and then bringing expansions out for it, which sucks because I think this is a cool concept or whatever. I don't know anything about it, but I just like that. I think that's
it's like never dead, right?
Yeah, like we were talking about Halo 3 earlier, right? And how some people want it remade and how they still add little teeny weensy bits of content. But imagine like an expansion for something like that. Like that'd be wild.
It reminds me of Two Worlds. Two Worlds is this RPG that somehow is still getting fucking content to this day.
Yeah.
And it's insane because it's much more niche than Kingdoms of Amalur is. And they were pounding away with content for years. Like, and I'm talking about like frequent drops. So maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe it doesn't cost as much. And I'm curious what those new assets are. But excited to play this. Not feeling super confident given how quietly they're doing all of this. The trailer even, and they've done, that's the other thing. Someone at THQ Nordic, if you're listening, please talk to the people who make the trailers because they didn't even show gameplay. They announced it and they didn't even show gameplay. They just showed this like art board and concept art. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like any amount of excitement that can be generated from this is just being squeezed dry. It's just gone.
Yeah.
So disappointing,
man.
Really disappointing. All right. Last
that's all the
bit of news there.
Oh.
So what do we have?
Okay.
What's up?
I thought you were gonna say last bit of news and then talk about the
Oh
last
yeah.
bit of
No.
news.
I usually say like that's it or something like that. So I know
right.
that mixed you up. All right. Do we have any call-ins waiting for us right now?
We have two. One I really want to see. We got Drunk Volcano and Golden Goose.
Yeah, we need to talk to Drunk Volcano. I already know he's gonna call me out. I definitely fibbed to him last week. Didn't know we were gonna cancel. Canceled anyway, and he was
he's been waiting.
He has a presentation, I'm imagining, planned for us. So why don't you bring him in, and then we'll chat. And I told everyone, I said I'm just gonna sit back and let Drunk Volcano do his thing. I'm just gonna let him spit facts here.
And after that, we'll grab Golden Goose.
And you mentioned it. You lied to my face. We lied to my face.
Oh, we got the presentation.
I can't imagine. You know, I had to crunch for this.
Did you really?
Yes, it was Thanksgiving. I ain't eating pizza on Thanksgiving. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, I crunched.
Hold on,
is it presentable?
Let's see here. Let me see what happens when I bring this up. Okay,
I can't view the stream since it's on the same monitor.
Okay,
but
I'm gonna have to
we're gonna have to jury rig it a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get really. I don't know how I'm gonna do this for you, where the audience can actually see this.
Here, wait. I'm sorry.
There you go. Oh,
I actually.
All right.
I don't know how we're gonna be able to do this.
Okay, the struggle.
Hold on.
I can.
You could disable the transition. Yeah, you could turn off the overlay.
Yeah, let me do that real quick. Hold on. Let me overlay.
Disable
you know what? No, here's the problem. It's capturing individual parts of us here.
Oh no.
I would have to
pizza debate.
Oh.
Bear with us, audience.
Yeah,
this is going to be worth it.
I'll figure
this is going to be worth it.
Yeah.
I put a lot of time into effort into this.
I'll figure this out.
Don't forget money. I put money into this.
You put money into this?
You got pizza, man.
Find the pizza. You think Papa John's is giving me pizza for free?
All right, hold on. Give me 1 sec. I think I can get this done here.
All right, in the meantime, how was your Thanksgiving, Volcano?
A little bit depressing, but because usually we have a big family Thanksgiving, but two prominent members of the family passed away in the past 2 years, and then the rest of the family moved away. So it was just kind of like a in-household Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I had my Thanksgiving wasn't the best either, so I understand where you're coming from.
I was more excited for this, and then it gets fucking canceled.
Oh no!
I don't know. Then it comes Black Friday. I'm a broken man.
Hold on. Wow. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. I'm trying to figure this out right now for the audience.
Can you not just stream the Discord? Like that's
it. Yeah, I'm trying to do that right
that's
now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that right now. It's just it has like streamer mode enabled, so I don't know if it's actually going to.
It should let you. You can go into the settings and just enable streamer mode.
All right, I'm gonna respond to some of the chat. Justy Spud, at least I got pizza. Well, the problem is when you scarf down 4 pizzas in the span of a week and a half. Are you really enjoying the pizza? That's the question.
You put the body on the line.
Yeah, I put the body on the line.
Let me turn down your mic just a little bit if you don't mind, by the way. But I'm gonna do a display capture here in just.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just.
Is that better? There
you go. Yeah, that's much better. Okay.
My bad.
We're gonna give the audience a display.
Oh, we got.
What's up?
Let's give some context here for people who weren't here for the pizza debate.
Go for it.
So we were talking about what the best chain pizza is, and this maniac Matt thinks it's Pizza Hut. Like the $20 box is like his holy grail. So we're gonna rip into him.
Okay. All right. I got it up right now. Now.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So the Great Pizza Debate by Drunk Volcano. We're gonna do a next slide. All right. So the rules of this debate. Only large cheese hand toss.
Okay.
I must pick up all the pizzas from the store. Wait time and service is not a factor. This is about the big 4 pizza chains, not your local 5-star pizza place.
Okay.
So the 4 big chains is Pizza Hut.
Laying out the rules.
No problem. Is Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Domino's, and Little Caesars.
Oh my god. Okay.
So the order of these slides are only in the order that I ate these pizzas.
Okay, so this was written in the moment, yeah?
In the moment.
The Hut.
So the price the price of the Hut was $12.99.
Okay.
So I said I was going to learn area. I'm too retarded for that. So I took a tape measure. The width of the pizza was 13.5 inches, and the length of the pizza was 13 inches.
Okay. Nice even pizza from Pizza Hut.
The crust was soft and chewy.
Okay, let's get into it.
This is a very important factor that will come later in our story. But yes, The crust was good. There was very clean cuts in this pizza.
Oh my god.
Like perfectly clean. Like some dude took a laser to this. But the pizza was pretty saucy. So if you don't really like saucy pizza,
that looks amazing, man. I love what I'm seeing.
That looks like Chuck E. Cheese, bro. Get that shit off the screen.
No, that looks great. Good shit. All right.
All right, now I took the exact same photo style for every pizza, so they all look to some extent kind of bad. But okay. So this is the first. This is the Hut. I'm gonna give you all the information that you can process, and then we'll discuss later.
Matt's gonna want a pizza.
That looks horrible. That looks
amazing.
That looks so fucking bad. What's that on the bottom right? Is that a pepper?
Yeah, they put peppers in the box.
Jalapeno.
Yeah, or whatever.
Oh,
dude,
no.
Now, it may look amazing, but looks can deceive.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The price of this pizza was $15.80.
Yikes.
The width was 12.5 inches by 13 inches.
Okay.
The crust was hard and chewy like Laffy Taffy. I don't know if you guys eat Laffy Taffy. It was a fucking struggle. I was getting a workout. and it was very dry.
Oh no!
This is the only pizza that left my mouth completely dry. To the point where after eating the pizza, I had to get a drink. I was struggling.
I want pizza.
So we got Little Caesars. I got a little.
Dude, that's school pizza.
Yeah, that looks really bad, but you couldn't help but take a slice and then take the picture.
Yeah, well, Pac-Man then.
I was pretty hungry, man. All right, so Little Caesars at the best price of $5.50.
That explains a lot.
For the whole thing?
Whole thing.
They're cheap, man.
And it was pretty big. 13.5 inches by 13.5 inches.
Okay.
The crust is soft. Very, very enjoyable. If Little Caesars fucks up bread, I don't know what Little Caesars you're at. Because crazy bread is the best side to ever exist.
Their bread is really good.
It was saucy, but it was less than the Hut.
Okay.
So there was actually some sauce there. But it was pretty greasy.
Yeah, we can see that in the box too. It's
Yeah,
it's pretty marked up right off the rip.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So next we got Domino's.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like they took pepperonis off of that.
Yeah, a little.
Those are the bubbles. Those are the bubbles.
I know
in the
Domino's
pizza.
pizza is fire, so I know it'll be good. But
Okay, this
So
is a
the
good
price-
price. It's a good price.
Yeah,
It was
middle ground here.
$12.99. The width was 13.5 by 13.5. The width and length. The crust is soft. But this is the only
Spices.
pizza that
Yeah.
actual had spices
Yes.
and like a different and unique
What?
taste.
Domino's
Yeah.
is delicious, Matt.
I've
it
had
had spice.
Domino's, but we'll debate that later, I'm guessing. But spices, okay.
Yeah,
What kind of flavor does that spice produce?
good flavor,
Good
It's
flavor.
got
Okay.
like a garlicky taste to it. It's
Okay.
really good.
Okay.
but it was also greasy.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
So the pizza rankings, what we all been waiting for. We have Domino's at number 1.
Oh no.
Let's go. Let's go.
Well, number 2 was Little Caesars.
Are you fucking kidding? The $5 pizza's above the Hut. Okay.
There is reasons. Number 3 was Pizza Hut.
It's not in last. Okay, I can respect this
And
list.
worst of all, I will never eat pizza here again, is Papa John's. So,
Wow.
our ranking reasons. Domino's was the best tasting out of all of them.
Okay.
For sure. Total agreement.
Okay.
Little Caesars had good taste, surprisingly, with the best price.
So the price does
can't-
play a factor here.
You can't beat $5.50. You could have 3 Little Caesars pizzas for 1 Papa John's pizza.
That does play
Like,
a factor. That's fair. Yeah.
Can't beat them. Pizza Hut was not bad. It actually surprised me, but it was way too saucy.
Like, would you
They
come
just-
back?
I would come back, yeah.
Okay.
They fucking poured the tomato sauce can on that bad boy.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Might
not
just
coming
got
back.
might have got a bad pie, but that's fine.
Papa
Laffy
John's is
Taffy.
the only one I'm gonna actually shit on. Papa John's had that Laffy Taffy crust. Now I'm gonna break my own rules here since I was lied to and wasn't gonna bring this up. But ordering Papa John's was the worst experience of ordering pizza I ever had. So with
Really?
every other place, I called the store. I asked for 1 large cheese hand tossed pizza.
Right.
The store told me a time frame. I went to go pick it up. Papa John's wanted to be a little extra. They send you to their fucking little remote call center in some god knows place. They ask you for your first and last name, your phone number, and whether you want to buy additional shit.
Oh,
They
God.
The
bombard you.
GameStop of pizzas.
Yes. Every other pizza place maybe took a minute or 2 max. Papa John's took 7 minutes for me to
Aw.
order 1 large cheese hand
The
tossed
pizza could have been halfway there by that point. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the end of my presentation.
Excellent job.
So I'm gonna come out real quick, and I need to comment on something. Everybody's hyping up Little Caesars for this $5 deal, right? Go to Domino's. I think it's almost every Domino's in America. Okay, You can get 2 medium
Wait,
pizzas.
time out real quick. If you could just shut down the stream real quick so all of our cameras orient properly. But otherwise, keep going, Paul.
So we have, if you go to Domino's, you get 2 medium pizzas with 2 toppings that are $5.99 each with their, I think it's called mix and match deal. I'm telling you, if you want pizza, good pizza that tastes good, this is the best way to get it. Basically, you're paying $6 per pizza, and the whole family can eat it. It's delicious pizza. It's got a great deal behind it, and Domino's just reigns supreme for that reason. But I'm a little disappointed with the Papa John's pick. You must have had a really bad experience because every time I've had Papa John's, it's smooth sailing. Delicious pizza. You get the pepper or whatever it was in there, the garlic sauce. Always tastes great. It has a nice flavor profile to it. I will say the crust being Laffy Taffy, I could probably agree with because I've had some pretty bad crust on pizza, and I know Papa John's doesn't take the crown for that. But Domino's has really good crust. They have garlic on there, and it just tastes delicious.
Also, the problem that I have with Papa John's, I know I didn't say sides, but I gotta mention this.
Oh, please.
They have spicy nacho cheese and only spicy nacho cheese.
Not normal.
Not normal. Cheese with some bite. Okay?
Yeah.
You try and enjoy some crust or some side bread? Nah. You getting bite.
Wow.
I don't like hot spice in that
Describe
way.
to me real quick. By the way, your stream is like, I don't know if you're sharing your screen. I don't remember.
No, I'm not sure.
It still says like the pizza debate. Why is it?
I'm breaking everything.
Matt, you click on your
Oh,
Discord.
there we go. Got it.
I was about to say, you broke my Friday. I'm breaking your stream.
Yeah.
There we go. Got it. We're all good now. Sorry about that. That was on me. Describe to me your first bite. Like you take a bite of Pizza Hut, by the way, and you put it at 3, so it wasn't the worst. And this seemed to be the first one you ordered based off your ranked list, right? So what was that first bite like? Were you like, this is actually pretty fucking good? What was that like for you? Was it not?
It was
that
unexpected. I haven't had Pizza Hut in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it's reasonable this to be the first one. I take a bite, and it was impact of sauce and cheese and crust, and I was like, this is a little overbearing with the sauce, but this is actually good.
Okay.
This is enjoyable pizza.
Paul,
Right.
get on it, man. I'm telling you, the Hut is back. The
Matt,
Hut is back.
If you get Domino's, I will get Pizza Hut.
Oh, I will.
Because
I will.
Domino's is amazing. I'm telling you. I don't know. Although I don't know if it's like a northern thing because I had Domino's in Canada with my girlfriend and it was dog shit. So maybe
Canadian pizza. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
okay.
It's Canadians.
The Domino's in New York, or wherever. I don't know if it'll be good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the here's the thing, right? And you were smart, Volcano, to not put this or to make sure this was a rule that we could all go to our local pizza chains and find someone who's doing it way better in all 4 of these combined. Let's be real with ourselves, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're talking fast food pizza, these things do matter. So I'm having a hankering right now. I'm feeling like Pizza Hut's calling my name.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I want to get some pizza after this.
Yeah.
The Pizza Hut, it's calling your name, okay? But Little Caesars, if we were talking about sides here, number 1, automatically. If you do not like crazy bread with some nacho cheese, or just crazy bread, I don't think you're a human being. I think you're some reptoid that came up from the ground. They're smacked. Domino's side, every time I get Domino's, when not doing this debate, I get Parmesan bread bites. Kopi, you probably had those before.
I've
amazing.
had them, but I prefer the garlic bread bite version.
Or garlic bread bites, one of the two.
Yeah, the Parmesan are
those.
good, but the garlic bread bites, they slap. But Matt will never understand the taste of a great Domino's pizza.
Well, yeah, because I live in such a privileged ass area that when I searched up pizza, no single chain has shown up. It's all local pizza chains where.
See, that's my point.
Like
that's why it's hard to debate with a guy who doesn't have local chain. I literally, in my surrounding area, I
think they've all been put out of business here. Really?
All 4 of the chains are right next to me. So it's a very pick and choose thing.
Yeah, I have a Domino's about maybe a minute and a half from me. And I order from there pretty frequently, more than I like to admit. And it's just so good, man. I wish I had Pizza Hut delivery, but I don't think they deliver to my area. I know Papa John's doesn't, and Little Caesars, I'm pretty sure you don't even deliver. You go pick it up. I don't know if they do delivery at Little Caesars, but
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless you like Uber Eats it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
true.
not
I only
smart.
check DoorDash. Maybe Uber Eats would provide more, but I'd be surprised if DoorDash wasn't
Just
popping off with pizza in a,
Matt, just
in a
go to
local area.
the restaurant specific, because most pizza delivery places don't actually use like DoorDash or whatever.
That's a
They
good
just-
point.
You go from their website, and that's how
I
you
just
get
went
it.
on Google Maps and looked up pizza places near me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Matt
one
doesn't
that's
understand that. He grinds Uber Eats because he's privileged.
yeah. Well, the nearest Pizza Hut is 12 minutes. Not too bad,
far.
but yeah.
They would deliver to you in 12 minutes, though.
I have some in like walking distance though, so come
I
on.
literally I could walk to my Domino's in like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like debating going to get some after this. It's hard to show up. Come on.
Let's go. Let's get it on. Oh, and also, I'm still gonna give you shit for Friday. You say it's a slow news week, okay?
No,
Who
no.
cares? You have 2 weeks built up of not call-ins
Hold
of
on.
write-ins.
Yes.
It
Yes. No, you're
was
absolutely
also
right.
Thanksgiving.
But yeah, I
I
was
wanted to
gonna say,
enjoy my time with my
holiday
family.
You didn't even realize it was Thanksgiving last week.
That's fair. That's
but
fair.
but it was when it came around, I knew it was time. All right, and I had finals coming up, and those were just crunching me. It was a good time to take a break. I'll
You-
throw every excuse I need under the bus.
You
Yeah.
know what I think? I think, Maddie, you're just fucking out there stepping on people, climbing over them.
Matt did make the call.
Friday.
He said it first, so
That's
you
what I
wanna blame
mean.
someone,
It's true.
blame this
It's
guy.
true. I did pitch it to Paul. I went, you want to take this week off? It's all me.
Yeah.
So if
Maddie
anyone's
went out
upset-
there,
All Matt's fault.
hatchet and torch. He's getting the new TV for the office.
Yeah.
That's what Maddie
I'm
was doing.
replacing this bad boy back here. I'm tired of
Yeah.
the small 20-incher.
Oh, and bigger and better.
Right.
All right.
This has been
So-
absolutely entertaining. Thank you so much for adding to our show. We really appreciate it.
Drunk Volcano has 2 banger episodes where he brings in the water debate or the ice debate, and now we've got the pizza debate. I can't wait to see what's next.
Someone
Now, if you
suggested
want
a
to
Chinese food chain,
monetary
but
reimburse me, that is acceptable. I'm just joking.
how much did it run you? How much did it run you?
Let's see.
Probably
Let me look at the PowerPoint
You
again.
did
I
15.
closed
I
it.
think you did 15 3 times and then 5. So it was, what, about
It
like
was like
50 bucks?
15, 12, and 5. I think it was.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Hut was $12.99. Big Papa was $15.80. Little Caesars was $5.50, and Domino's was $12.99.
Not bad. Not
Well, we
bad.
appreciate
Not
the
bad, but in a
dedication.
week where you're running my wallet.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean, at least your family was eating
Look,
pizza.
You made the
No,
decision.
I
You
was
wanted
eating
you
it.
wanted to take it this far. So
I did want to take
every-
it this far.
You got to fund experiments, man. That's how it goes. I mean,
yeah.
it's expensive shit.
Yeah, it was part of the process, you know. In my car, banging my head, going to pick up some fucking Little Caesars or some.
What was the first and what
sense.
was the last pizza you had?
It was in order by the slides. It was the
Okay.
Hut was the first, Domino's was last. I eat Domino's the most personally, so I
Me
felt that
too.
was the best to save for last.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all the
I
respect
took
to
a
you,
real
Drunk Volcano.
scientific mind to it.
I was gonna say, all the respect to you. You measured each pizza, so we appreciate you for that.
Yeah. Thank you
So-
for coming on and doing the debate with us.
I do have unless it gets canceled, next week's episode. Paul, you better be ready with Mama's cooking. There's your hint. Mama's cooking's the hint.
Mm.
You better be ready for
Trying
this thrashing you're about to get. All right, I'm out of here,
Maybe
guys.
some
See ya.
cooking, Mama.
to- Peace out.
All right, that's it. Mama's cooking, Matt. Any ideas?
I actually was like racking my head. I saw you thinking really hard there. You could see your gears turning. I was like, what is he? I'm trying to think what he's referring to.
Cooking Mama? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I went to. Right, cooking mama. Like mom's
Mama's
cooking.
Babe cookies? I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll find out. I'm excited.
I didn't get to crack my joke and tell him like Christmas is coming soon, so we're gonna be taking a break. But-
Oh no, are we gonna have next week?
no, I'm making a joke. I was making a joke. We'll still be on, but we're
Okay.
gonna have to pre-record
That's it.
stuff.
See, Matt doesn't keep his employees informed, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, right. I just tell Paul like, hey, it's fucking showtime. Get on. Let's go. I think I saw before all this. Yeah, we do have a couple call-ins. If
we got Golden Goose, and we can bring Sam in if you want.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're gonna be able to hit patron questions this week. I guess.
No, probably not.
All right, Golden Goose, we're bringing you in.
Just tell
Hello.
Fucking showtime.
Howdy.
Oh wait, is that an Ari profile picture? Oh, love it.
It definitely is.
Big Ari fan, Matt.
Yeah, I like her. Golden Goose, are you there?
I am. How's it going, guys?
It's going well, man. How are you?
Not too bad. You guys actually have great timing. I literally just finished cooking dinner.
Good stuff. We were just talking about food, so
awesome.
we're all very
I know.
Yeah. What are we eating tonight?
Doing some Parmesan shrimp and some rice.
Shit.
Ooh.
Anything
Wow.
sounds good right now. Anything sounds good right
Yeah,
now.
right. I'm starving.
Right.
Starving, Marvin.
Well, what do you have on the docket for us in the terms of questions?
So I just have a quick question for you guys because this popped in my head the last couple nights. So I've been playing through the Dead Space games.
Oh.
And I love me some Dead Space 1. I'm not gonna lie, played it on console, didn't run the best, but still an amazing game.
Right.
Played through Dead Space 2, and again, phenomenal game, but I am struggling through 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you guys, because the funny thing is, no matter how hard, no matter how bad the game seems to get, I still am just forcing my way through it. Because I've never seen the end of Dead Space.
Oh, you should see it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you know it? You've never seen
No.
it like you.
Nope.
Oh.
So, fun as it is, I literally, years ago when this game came out, got to the point where I landed on the planet, and I have no idea why, but I stopped and just never went back.
I have an idea.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But, so, I'm kind of, I guess you could call it cheating. I bought some DLC, so I've got a decent suit, decent weapons, and I'm pretty much just kind of plowing my way through it.
Sure.
But my question for you guys was, has there ever been a game in a series that you no matter how bad it was, you still kind of plowed your way through just to get through it for the story?
Oh.
I'm notorious for being a big dropper. If something isn't good, I'm not playing it. It's not worth my time.
Okay.
But there are games I've had to trudge through. I don't know. If I'm not having fun, I just can't. I can't. I want to think on it though.
Yeah. For me, I experience it a lot as just a game reviewer. Part of me is that double-edged sword of I like seeing the bad stuff through because I'm curious what it ends up being at the end. It's just kind of an experiment for me after a certain point in time. But there is kind of like what you said with Dead Space 3. It's very torturous in certain moments. It can really slog. And I think of something recently like The Medium, right? That came out at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
I remember that was a very much story-driven game, or at least I expected it to be, because there was literally no gameplay. It was all atmosphere, which I thought it didn't even do that well. It was one of the worst games I played this year. But simply put, that was a game that, I was just going through it, hoping the story would pick up there. And of course, I'm more obligated to do that on a review front. And most games I play end up tying into some piece of content, so I just by nature see them through. Because I was like Paul in a lot of ways, especially when I was younger. I mean, even series that I talk about now on the channel that I really like there were ones that I played and just kind of dropped and never saw all the way through. And if I didn't like something and it didn't connect with me, that was all there was to it. So I think there's a pretty large gap between just people who are consuming for entertainment and people who are working with games. So I don't drop them as often anymore, but certainly there were many back then.
I have one, and it's kind of a sad pick because I really like this game, but something about it just doesn't grab me. And in the way where it's I'm not having fun, it's more so I'm just not hooked. And it's The Witcher 3. And I think it's because I cannot get past the city. I think it's Novigrad.
Yeah, Novigrad.
Yep.
I cannot get past Novigrad. I don't know why. I have fun with the game. I love so much about it. Geralt of Rivia is such an awesome character, but I just can't. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest conundrum I've ever found myself in with a game. I want to play it. I'm gonna wait for the wait. I don't know if it'll ever come out, but for the next gen version. But
right.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of one. Obviously, it's different now because I've re-reviewed all those games. But Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition were real tests for me, especially when they first came out. Dragon Age 2, I don't even think I finished the first time I played until I picked it up again on PS3 like a year later and went like, okay, Skyrim's out of the way. Like let's play this now. And then Inquisition was the real like just get through it, man. Like just get through it. And it's funny because I think I was I was younger at the time. I think it was 17, 18. It was 2014. No, I was in college, so I was like 19, I want to say. And I remember when that came out, like there were a lot of things I didn't appreciate about it, but like the gameplay grind, like it was just a slog, man. Like that was a really tough one to get through, and that was like I made some YouTube content on it, but that was for me. Like I was before I was going beyond Bethesda, so that's one especially I remember that was like that was a drag. But I have to warn you again, Golden. You just got to know, man. Dead Space 3, there's no payoff. So, and there is DLC that has another ending, which is that you need to see. Just look it up. Don't bother playing it. Just look it up. But yeah, as you've already seen, it kind of betrays every core piece of the formula that's in that series. You know, it turns into an action third-person shooter, repetitive environments. Like it's a really weird made game. It's like two different games. Like the space section is actually not bad, and the planet section is just I don't know what they were thinking, but it wasn't good.
That's interesting because honestly, the only thing because I'm still in space, I haven't hit the planet yet. But the thing that's killing me so far is I have no idea what they did with the weapon system.
Yeah,
no idea.
Yeah, just the mixing and matching. It's supposed to be cool, but it's not.
Right?
Yeah,
and I can tell it reeks of microtransactions, like reeks of them.
Yeah, this is when EA was. Dude. I think EA was at their worst here. Like they've done some pretty awful shit, but this is when they were like hand obviously in the cookie jar. Like even with Anthem, I feel like they had some pressure there, but they gave BioWare like 6 years to make that. Where it's almost like how much pressure was EA really putting on them at a certain point in time? Where with Dead Space 3, like clearly having those scavenger bots that you could buy extras of, like you don't need them, but the fact that they're there. And they did the day one DLC with Mass Effect 3. That's when they were really fucking up. I remember that so well.
Yeah, well, and I find it funny every time I boot up the game, it asks me if I want to buy the online pass.
Oh, no. I forgot about that.
I forgot about that.
Then you don't have it, so you can't do co-op, which I think makes the game somewhat tolerable. Oh, so you're going by yourself, too.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
That's why I had to cheat with the DLC and get a decent gun, because...
Right.
Yeah, I was just playing a part before I jumped in with you guys that is just so... I can tell it was balanced for two people.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to do it by myself is just awful.
Yep. Yeah. Games are real with that.
I started Dragon Age. I started Dead Space 1. And I stopped not because I wasn't liking it. I was really, really because of a remake coming out. I didn't play 2, which looks really fun as well. And I didn't play 3 either, obviously. But I did edit Matt's entire Dead Space retrospective, and 3 looked horrendous. Like it just looked not fun at all.
So many invisible loading screens.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, it's revolving door.
Yeah,
there was like 3 in a row. I remember it.
I forgot about that.
It was pathetic.
Oh my god.
I got to give you some love, Matty, because I've been playing through these. I went back and watched your retrospective on them, and it is a solid video, man.
Thank you. That video really did not well, so thank you. That's really nice to hear. Yeah.
Hey, that hurts, man, because that I'm not gonna lie. I watched you, and I watched. There's another channel I watched that did a retrospective on Dead Space, and man, like they do really good ones, but yours just had that level of like I could tell that you're a fan of the series.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. Just know that. So I really appreciate you checking it out.
For sure. Hey, absolutely, man.
All right, Golden. Well, it was great talking to you, man. And we hope you enjoy your what was it? Parmesan shrimp? Was that what it was?
Yeah. Parm shrimp. I was gonna say pictures in the Discord if you're in the Discord. So
go for it.
Okay, check it out.
I think we have a food channel, so go for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post my pizza there later.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm so hungry.
Well, hey, thanks for talking to me, guys. It's great hearing from you.
Awesome, Golden. Great talking to you as well, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Take care.
See you later.
See ya. Okay, Matt, we have a super chat from Michael Kulik, and he asks, What are your thoughts on Halo Infinite lacking content? We all understood it would be free to play, but the expectation was that they'd add new content, not monetize classic modes and features. So I don't know what he's talking about with the monetization of classic modes and features. Are they? Is he trying to? Is he? Do you know what he's talking about? 'Cause I don't.
Yeah, I think because what happened was they just announced that after launch they're adding SWAT, Fiesta, and a free-for-all playlist.
Okay.
And they said that this is not going to probably land December 8th, but sometime before the year ends, which will be good to see. I don't know what they are monetizing beyond the cosmetics, which, by the way, I think their monetization is pretty aggressive in its own way because it's not it's very clever because it's not necessarily like you need this in the game, so come buy it. It's more like the battle pass offers you so little and is so obstructive to the core mechanics that you want to go to the store and check out what's there. It's very sneaky. So there is also the possibility Michael's talking about, and I think this is more likely, the event. I don't know if you hopped into the Tenrai event. I think that's where it is.
Together.
Because I wasn't sure because I know Trex was the one who he took time off of Halo. Because he said the event
forever off.
Yeah, right. But the event,
he's driving off of cliffs in Halo.
The event bothered him a lot though, and I know it bothered me and it bothered a lot of people because what you saw was like you unlocked the core Tenrai armor set, but all the shit that they were showing off was like stuff that they were going to sell you. Because you go to the storefront and they had more armor and pieces there. Okay. And you look at how lacking the battle pass was for the event, and it's like, what the so I get what he's saying by that about the lacking of content, but they're monetizing that stuff. And I think it's sad because this experience does not need to go down like this, right? Like it is. Yeah. Again, I keep saying it. It's like in the game of the year conversation for me, campaign withstanding, because it's so fun, it's emergent. There's always a story to be told every match, and I really appreciate it for that. We haven't had something like that in years, so it's not some fart in the wind. It's an actual really good multiplayer experience, but its challenge progression and monetization is a bit out of hand in a lot of ways. And Michael Kulik actually followed up here with another super chat. I'll rephrase. Old modes are slowly being released, and cosmetics are being monetized when they never used to be, MCC being an example. And exactly that. That's where I was going to go to. When you fire up MCC, the template's right there. Like them diversifying. It's why I call it sneaky. Like them diversifying, right? And saying like, hey, we're going to try this new battle pass system with challenges. It's like, well, you're not doing it because you're trying to reinvent the wheel. You're doing it so you can make a lot of money off of it. And at that point, just fucking sell it, right? So I find it greatly disappointing. We appreciate the double microtransaction, or I call it microtransaction. We appreciate the double super chat, Michael. But Paul, what are you feeling about what Michael had to say here?
Dude, I'm in total agreement, and it worries me because if Halo Infinite is lacking content and they don't release enough to suffice, like the games as a service, I guess you could say industry or the genre, whatever you want to call it, relies on quick, steadfast, and secure content drops. You know what you're getting, like almost like stacking on top of each other. And if they don't start providing that soon, people aren't gonna stick around. I mean, you're gonna end the battle pass, right? And then what's left? I mean, they keep adding more and more ways to level up in the battle pass, which is good, but it's starting to make me realize, like, I'm starting to reach like level 25 now, so I'm a fourth of the way through. When I'm done, why do I play other than to have fun? Which is like, yeah, great, but like that. They need that incentive. There needs to be, I want to say, a ranking system in the game, just for starters, right?
Right.
But that's just like one thing. The armor shop, it sucks. The battle pass, honestly, isn't even that good. Like most of the content in there is like good and then okay, mediocre. And then you have like challenge swaps in the battle pass, and you have double XP,
right?
And like it's just not good. Like and it's a free game, so it's like hard to complain, but it makes me wonder, like, why didn't they just release the game for $60 and give us like substantial content?
It's disappointing, but Michael, we thank you for writing in about that. Definitely a great question that we have to talk about
for sure.
Any lingering call-ins we got waiting for us? I see we got two.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna bring in Sam Kingma because he was waiting.
All right, cool beans.
Hello, Sam, or he or she, I should say.
All right. Sam, can you hear us? Are you here?
Yes, I can.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing well.
It's great to hear from you.
Video on?
Yeah, if you'd like to, or do you have to turn it on? Is that what you're asking?
It's on the bottom left. It should say like turn.
Oh.
Yep, there you go.
Did I got? Okay.
There you go.
Hey,
how's it going,
welcome.
man?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you guys' selves?
We're doing quite well. What's on your mind, man?
That's pretty good. Before I wanted to come in with my actual topic, Maddie, I wanted to give you some big props for that excellent Sonic Adventure video on Retro Rebound. Specifically because you used the better SADX mod.
Oh, there was multiple?
Well, that's the prop. Is that not the one you used?
No. I just didn't know if there were multiple ones. Sorry. Because my friend who's a Sonic expert was like, here's the link to this mod. Download this really easy install and try it out. I didn't put much thought into it, in all honesty.
No, what I mean is I appreciate you putting in the 5 minutes of effort to actually make that game 10 times better. Where I feel like most people would not have done that.
Oh, yeah. No, I want to love it. That's the thing. I want to love it.
That awful 4x3 port on Steam is terrible. Please
it's
mod it.
Horrendous.
But I have two things we could talk about. But I came late to the stream. Did you guys already talk about PlayStation Plus subscription tiers?
Yes,
yeah,
we did.
Okay, cool. We won't talk about that.
Oh,
Instead, we'll talk about a thought exercise that I've been really thinking about a lot. I do delivery, so I'm by myself a lot, and I listen to podcasts, listen to the Sacred Symbols, Last Stand, swath of shows, and think about games a lot. And I was thinking a lot about the libraries of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And in the previous generation, PS4 versus Xbox One, the discussions over what platform had the better library was kind of not interesting because it was just the answer was just the PS4, and there was really no debate to have about it. But both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X introduced backwards compatibility to the mix. And I want to ask, if we take every single game that's available that's just PlayStation, both PS4 and PS5, versus every game that's just available on Xbox, that's playable on Xbox. So all the OG Xbox games that are backwards compatible, the 360 games, the Xbox One games, and the Series X games. If we look at those two libraries together, not just the Sony first-party titles and the Xbox first-party titles for the current gen, who has the better library, gentlemen?
Xbox. For sure, Xbox. With the Game Pass, with the backwards compatibility with the original Xbox games. You got Xbox 360. It's Xbox. I think I'd argue, and this probably isn't necessarily true, but I know a lot of people buy PlayStation consoles. I guess maybe in my friend group I've noticed for exclusives. And Xboxes are just sort of like inclusive of like everything except for those PlayStation exclusives. So in my opinion, based on what you were saying, like you said it right away, like a nail on the head, or hammer on the nail, whatever.
Yeah, no, you had the first time.
I want pizza. Okay, whatever. I want pizza. Yeah, no, Xbox for sure.
Yeah, it's tough because I look at the PS2 generation as sort of like the place I start to get a little weak on. I'm like, oh, do I really want to commit to Xbox here? Because I'm with Paul on like Xbox, but then I think of Jak and Daxter, I think of Sly Cooper, I think of Ratchet and Clank. Like that was the trifecta for me growing up. That was huge. I think of Champions of Norrath, Champions Return to Arms. Like that was my Diablo. I think of how, even though GameCube also had it, but I played all my Mega Man games on PlayStation. Mega Man was not on Xbox. It is now with the collections, but like Mega Man was instrumental. So that PS2 era was like a defining era for me. It's really what I think cemented my taste. But during Xbox, it's like I had Death Row, I had Dead or Alive, I had, of course, KOTOR, I had Jade Empire. Like, Death Row, man, I love Death Row. I just think that in a lot of ways that PS2 era was probably more instrumental to me, while one particular game in the original Xbox era, really two, were like the ones that spoke to me. But the 360 era is where the punchback occurs, and that's where it's like, Halo, Gears, you get Lost Odyssey, Operation Darkness, like all of these games that then you move one more generation forward, PS4. It's been a back and forth, so it's a really tough call to make. But I think if I look at things collectively, I really do think Xbox speaks to me more because of RPGs. But I think I have a lot more nostalgia for PlayStation when it comes to back then. And it's funny because you asked about if we talked about PlayStation Game Pass and all that stuff. Their old libraries, to me, very tantalizing because there's so much brand power there and there's so much that's untapped there that I think a lot of people have forgot about. Again, I think people are going to be reminded like, hey, Sly Cooper's still a thing. That's really exciting to think about. Where Xbox, thanks to back compat, I think we're already used to it, but a lot of the stuff that excited me about 360, for example, I also think a lot of that was third party. But Xbox definitely wins in my heart, but it's a very close one. Like you could actually catch me on another day saying probably PlayStation if I'm totally truthful with you. But I just think, I also can't count out Halo Combat Evolved. That was another really important one that I almost didn't think of. I was thinking Halo 3, but Combat Evolved is one of my most replayed games. So definitely think I'm going to commit to Xbox here, but I could pick PlayStation on another day of the week. What about you though? Where are you at on this back and forth? You said you think about these games a lot. You hear a lot of podcasts. Like, where do you fall on what side of the fence?
Yeah, personally, when it comes to the library of games that are currently available on the Series X and PS5, I think it's Series X hands down. Granted, that's because I am an old head and I like going back to 360 games and these OG Xbox games and think they're of the quality of, current 2021 releases. With that being said, though, if Sony does get their shit together and they do manage to get a serious chunk of PlayStation 2 and 3 games on PS5, it's over for my wallet. For my
it's dangerous.
Yeah, for me playing any modern releases, no. It's seriously. PS2 library is so good.
Yes,
and it's massive too.
PS2.
It's 2,000 plus games.
Yes.
All really high quality stuff.
Yeah, and it just, again, I think if they commit to that true back compat, and they found a way to do it, like, people are going to remember. And I think we forget because, like I was saying, like, a lot of the conversation for back compat has been about Xbox because they're just doing it. And they did a lot of great games, by the way, but you brought up an excellent point. Like, the PS2 library, we could sit here and do a whole show on that alone. Multiple episodes on, like, the beauty of the PS2 era. Like, to me, that was a golden era. Like, I think 360 is my favorite era of gaming. It's that blending of the PS2 original Xbox and GameCube level experimentation with better budgets. But, like, the PS2 was my console, man. Like, they really they get enough credit for it, but I think people, again, have, with the new era of PlayStation, these third-person open-world games that they only do, have forgotten what brought them to that point, which was just a ton of excellent experimentation.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree that the 6th generation of consoles is by far the best generation, simply because we had the most competition with 4 excellent systems that all provided, I think, in my opinion, 4 completely different ways of playing. You have the PlayStation 2, which was the most popular, played DVDs, which was sick.
Oh, yeah.
And just had to me, the appeal of the PS2 is, as what we talked about, the massive library of games. You have the original Xbox, which had some really well integrated online play with Xbox Live and Halo, and it was the best place to play basically any third-party multi-plat. You had the GameCube, the swath of great Nintendo exclusives that came out during that era when they were really interesting. And then, of course, you have my beloved honestly. And then you have my beloved Dreamcast, which is the home of the arcade perfect ports.
Yes.
And like incredible games like Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio and so much great stuff.
And it's funny you mentioned that because Sega's like spirit really was left with Xbox, with the original Xbox launch. So it's funny to hear you talk about the PS2 when a lot of people, you look at like Jet Set Radio Future, for example, Otogi, like a lot of Sega games like found their home from the Dreamcast and moved over to the original Xbox. So it's just interesting to hear you reminisce that way.
But yeah, honestly, that's all I have. Great show.
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and please come back soon. It was great speaking with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, certainly. All right, take care, everyone.
Well.
Adios.
Thanks.
We love when a great mic shows up. There's a little hype that
we had a great
us.
mic today, even cameras too. Like,
yeah,
guys, I'm telling you, even not just for the show, but if you like use your computer regularly, whatever, get like a decent mic, like 50, maybe not even 50, like $70, $100. it's like in Discord calls and whatever. It's a lifesaver. It's so nice.
If anyone's ever seen they can tell when I'm at home and when I'm here in the studio. If anyone's ever seen my home webcam when I'm recording at my desk, that is a webcam that I got from Best Buy for like $40. If anyone's looking for like a decent one, it's called like the JV something.
I need to get a new one because mine's pretty garbage. It's like $20.
I mean, that one has connection issues, so it's definitely budget, but it gets the job done. Michael Kulik super chatted twice, saying it's also strange that 343 is seemingly relying on us, the community, to tell them how to make the game. Which that's a really, really, really good point. I'll actually probably bring that up on Defining Duke, Michael, because the fucking template's there, and they keep saying like based off community feedback. I'm like, what do you need to know? That's a really good point. Follows that up with 2 more super chats. One saying the game didn't really need to be free-to-play model. To begin with, game is already on Game Pass, pretty accessible enough. Game Pass should by default make the free-to-play model completely unnecessary, especially for a franchise like Halo. I would agree, but I think that's because of PC. That just
also
bumps it up.
Also, like, it's still in beta.
Yeah.
Right?
They're full of shit.
So, like, yeah, I know. But it's like, I mean, I'm glad they're taking community feedback. I appreciate it, but it is kind of weird, like, that we're like, I mean, the game has changed pretty, I'd say, somewhat substantially since its release because of the XP changes.
Right. Why can't I hear you anymore? What the hell just happened? I'm not even kidding. I don't think it's your mic. I think I accidentally opened Sony Vegas and you suddenly went quiet. Hold on. Did I mute you? No, I didn't mute you. Like, I just opened just to check if we had any callers waiting for us. And if you speak, let me see if the desktop... Yeah, you're not sure. That's weird. My headphone's connected too. That's really weird. Well, the audience can still hear me. I don't know. I don't know if you joining and...
But no.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Maybe it was you. I can hear you now.
Okay, it was probably me then. My bad.
That's weird.
I don't even remember what I was talking about, if I'm honest. I got silenced by Matt's ninjas. Yeah.
Do you want to wrap this up here? Because we're about to hit the 3-hour mark. It's time to eat, probably.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah, I know we got a couple of call-in stragglers, but
show up if you guys show up next week, I'll remember your names. Pull you in.
Yeah.
Oh, VIP pass.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 10 of Ham Radio Live. We appreciate all of you a lot. Thank you to those who called in. We had a lot of excellent call-ins this week, so we definitely appreciate you for adding some flavor to our show. And with that, Paul, any final words or thoughts, or shall we call it a wrap for episode 10?
No, thanks everybody for showing up. Sorry if like last week you guys were eager or waiting or whatever, but Thanksgiving, what have you. Yeah. We'll have shows throughout December. I think we might skip the last week. I don't know, Matt. Maybe you should explain that whenever, because I don't even know.
Yeah, because we'll have to. What we're gonna have to do is probably bulk record a couple episodes in advance to prepare for the holidays. But I'm hoping to take like a good 2 to 3 weeks off. So we'll have to, like, as we get closer, because we're working on patron videos to like then schedule those for when I'm away. So once I have a good idea of like how many we'll have done, it's like then we'll record that many podcast episodes and do all of that.
Sweet. Okay.
So we'll have that checked off. All right. With that, time to get some food. We appreciate all of you listening, and we'll catch you for next week on episode 11. Peace out.
See you guys.